Kicking them off one by one in the Nationwide Series today, Kansas Speedway hosts race 30 of 34 of this 2011 season, and qualifying took place earlier today. Give credit, Brad, to that 70 team. David Stremme.
Absolutely. Dave did a good job qualifying his car up in the top 10. He'll get a top 10 run if he can keep the fenders clean on this thing.
And, of course, there's Paul Menard also in the field today for Kevin Harvick, Inc. He will start fourth. Are they ready? We are. Let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the 28th Infantry Battalion, 4th Brigade Combat Team, 1st Infantry Division presents our nation's colors. Please welcome from Raceway Ministries, pastor of Bethel Baptist Church of Lincoln, Nebraska, R.D. Fowler, as he offers today's invocation.
Join me in prayer. Father, we give thanks for this beautiful day to race. I thank you for the volunteers, the first responders, the medical personnel behind the scenes. We pray for safety for the drivers and the crews. I ask your blessings on all of our military personnel. Bless them, bless their families, and God bless America. In Jesus' name, amen.
To honor America and our troops, place your right hand over your heart as current recording artist Rachel Holder performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
The Nationwide Series has not been here to this track in just over a year. They have never been here with this new car. And do not forget, 5 races to go to determine a champion. Kansas Speedway will have its say in the title fight when we come back.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Kansas, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Enter this code at codespotter.com for a chance to win one-of-a-kind NASCAR VIP experiences.
Back at Kansas Speedway, if you're looking for some drama, the Nationwide Series certainly has it. Marty Reed, Andy Petrie, Dale Jarrett, I've got 2 words for you. Fuel mileage. I hope you've got your calculators ready for this one.
Well, and you guys touched on it a little bit. We're going to extend that just a little bit more. Hello again, everybody. The season so far in the Nationwide Series down 15% from last year in total cautions. And take a look at this graphic because it really says a lot. The average final run in a race. Last year, 14 laps. This year, the last green flag stretch, 31 laps. So how, as a driver, knowing that this track has a history of long runs, the season's had a history, how do you drive this race and how do you strategize it?
Well, Marty, you start out, I mean, we're going to start this race with crew chiefs thinking about the end of the race, but when it starts. So, you want to try to have the best you can have track position at the end, and the way to do that is not to be spending time on pit road. You need to try to extend your range. And the other thing about this kind of track is that when, you have these with no cautions, I mean, you're going to have green flag runs and green flag pit stops. So there's opportunities to make mistakes on coming down pit road, and when you lose time on pit road, it costs you time on the track.
Yeah, and as a driver, you know that you don't want to make those mistakes on pit road. That can cost you dearly. The other thing is you want to know right from the beginning if this is something you need to be aware of starting to save fuel, doing as good a job as you possibly can. And also, you might make an adjustment to the race car in that respect. If you can have a freer car, if you're not going to be driving it off in the corner quite as hard, then you can run the car a little bit freer. That's going to help save a little fuel also.
A couple of familiar names up front starting this race, but a lot of guys have picked up their first career wins in the Nationwide Series on the mile-and-a-half ovals. In fact, the guy who's standing on pole is one of those guys. Carl Edwards did it back in Atlanta. It's a long and illustrious list, so let's talk about a couple of guys who might be able to break through if they can strategize and race a good race.
Yeah, it's a tall order going against this field that they have today. I look at Ryan Truex starting third. He's done a really nice job in this race car. I think he gives good feedback. I think they have the team, and he has the ability to kind of pull an upset here today if everything should play out right for him.
Another one would be Brian Scott. He sat on the pole at Chicago. It's a track that, well, to me looks exactly like this track, so it should be a good opportunity for him to get a great finish, if not a shot at a win.
Well, we'll find out exactly what happens as we get ready to go racing, as the guys have climbed into the cockpits of the cars, the 43 that have made this field. We had a total of 48 to actually try and qualify, and 5 of those drivers ended up going home. In fact, we can quickly give you those 5 as it was Jennifer Jo Cobb, Dennis Setzer, Tim Andrews, Danny O'Quinn, and Mark Green. So now, let's get the 43 that did make the field started as we go trackside for today's race.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome our Grand Marshal, member of the 1980 United States Hockey Miracle on Ice team, Ken Morrow.
Drivers, start your engines.
Doing a race. John, real quick, who's pitting to right in front of us there? Fire in the hole. We're going to have to check it for you. All right, so what's the trick here? Is everybody supposed to back up?
So the engines have come to life here at Kansas Speedway, and when we come back, we'll talk to the man who's going to be starting in the number 2 spot. There he is in the 22, Brad Keselowski. He's our in-race reporter today. Stay with us.
Are you ready, baby?
Well, the last time NASCAR was in Kansas was back in June, and Brad Keselowski stunned everybody, picking up his first win of 2011, and little did we know at that time what it would lead to, including a place in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Across the top of the screen, you'll see the entire starting grid, the 43 that did make the field. Carl Edwards will be on the pole, and there is Brad on the outside of row number 1. And it's his 7th of last 8 races this season that he is starting on the front row. Let's talk to him. He's our in-race reporter, DJ.
Hey, Brad, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, bud, thanks for talking with us today. Our first question comes from our mailbag, and Camden from Lee Summit, Missouri asks, is there anything you learned from your Kansas win in June that can help you in both races this weekend?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That race came down to a little bit of a fuel mileage deal there, and we're always learning, whether it's fuel mileage or how to get around the track better. And I feel like the people I'm surrounded myself with, from spotters to crew chiefs and crew members, have made me a better driver, and I think that we're ready to go here.
Hey, Brad, as our fans watch this race today, they're going to see, as you approach the corners, and even out the straightaways, a lot of tar in the seams of this racetrack and even some cracks that you have in the corners. How much of a challenge does that present to you as a driver as you go around here at over 180 miles an hour?
Yeah, it's really big. That's actually a really good question. Somebody was really thinking on that one, because Kansas is probably notorious more than any other track for it. You can see them all over the different seams, and when you cross them, if you cross them with the front tire, your car seems to slide the front, and if you cross them with the back, you get real loose and slide the back. So you got to be really smart with all that stuff and try to pick your battles and cross them in the right times. And the guy who does that will be really tough to beat. especially over a long run.
All right, well, we know you're pretty smart and very talented, so good luck in handling all of that. Now Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Todd Gordon.
Hey, Todd, Andy Petrie in the booth. You have us?
Loud and clear.
Hey, Todd, we're talking about the opportunities for strategy on this mile-and-a-half track here in Kansas, but the tires kind of fall off with laps as you put laps on them. Is a two-tire strategy part of your playbook today?
I think you got to see how the race falls out, where we're at the end. Obviously, I think that's a possibility, but I look for this place to widen up as the race goes on and 4 tires to work for us. So we'll be on 4 most all day. We won't want to make that call till the end.
Well, I'm glad you have to make it, Todd. Good luck today.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, so as the cars come by the start-finish line, also gives us an opportunity to set our onboard cameras for you, and you can see we have quite a few. Besides Brett Keselowski, we've got Elliott Sadler, Danica Patrick, and Justin Allgaier, Brian Vickers in that 32 ride, and Carl Edwards on pole, Stephen Wallace, and Eric Almirola. It's time enough now to get a last-minute update from pit road. Jamie Little's up first.
Well, Marty, usually the pole sitter picks the number 1 pit box. Well, not today. Carl Edwards is back here in the number 8 spot. Why? Well, last weekend during the Cup race at Dover, he was in the same location and got a pit road speeding penalty. Tomorrow's Cup race, exact same pit box. So today, it's all about practice. And Carl Edwards just told me this is one of the toughest places on pit road for him. It all comes down to the timing lines, and he wants to nail it today. Dave Burns?
Jason Leffler's been told that he is free to pursue other options, say for bringing a truckload of money to the Turner Motorsports operation. He'll be done with them at the end of this season. He also saw teammate Reed Sorensen dismissed without warning earlier this week. In spite of that, or maybe because of that, he's the fastest Turner Motorsports qualifier today. And crew chief Eddie Bardou told me, quote, "The car's been fast since we got here, and today could be our day." Vince Welch?
Joey Logano has won the nationwide race here at Kansas each of the last 2 years. Today he drives the 18 car as he teams up with crew chief Jason Ratcliffe, who's been the crew chief for most of Kyle Busch's 51 wins. Now, the last time a driver other than Busch drove the 18 to victory lane, it happened right here at Kansas. Denny Hamlin drove it that day in 2008. Today, Logano hopes to add his name to the list of winners in the 18 car. Jerry Punch?
How often have you heard someone claim that history repeats itself? Well, the last 3 consecutive years, Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas have won this nationwide race at Kansas with young drivers. Today, it is a 19-year-old by the name of Ryan Truex driving a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. And that's a car number 20 that has won this race the last 2 consecutive years. And back in 2009, it was a 19-year-old by the name of Joey Logano driving that car to victory lane here. Guys, sounds like a lot of Kansas karma to me. Marty Reed?
And Joey was the youngest winner ever here at Kansas. Let's go over the wall with Mark Hollywood Armstrong. He's the front tire changer for the 66 of Stephen Wallace. We've talked about long runs today, which means green flag pit stops. How do you prepare, and what do you do to get ready?
Well, Marty, you can prepare for it just like a green flag stop under caution, but something that you got to pay attention to is pay attention to the detail. You can't have loose wheels. You can't have penalties. You do not want your car coming back down pit road for any kind of penalty under green. That can take you definitely out of the race today. Certainly we're ready to go today. We look for an exciting race, and certainly we got this helmet on for a cause today. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Hollywood. You guys be safe down there as we get now to the Goodyear track facts, and I know what you want to talk about. It's the corners.
Yeah, not a lot of banking here. You see that 15 degrees, but that's not a lot for these mile-and-a-half racetracks that we see. And with the asphalt, a lot of wear to it is going to make finding grip very important.
And it would be interesting to see if we test that 55 to 60 laps on that pit limit.
So got a quick moment. Let's check in on the radio of our points leader, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
You guys on pit road, just do your job nice and smooth, just like you do it every week. Ricky, you're as good as anybody out here, and I believe in you, man, that at the end of the day, we'll have something for these guys. Keep your head clear and your fenders on it. We'll have some fun.
He is in the lead. It is now down to a 2-man race between he and the 2 of Elliott Sadler. The pace car brings him through turn number 4 and is slowly making his way down this front straightaway. We can tell you, if you haven't been with us through practice and qualifying, the wind is now a headwind as you come down the front straightaway, as it has been all weekend, gusting to about 30 miles an hour as they come down the front straightaway. It's Carl Edwards down low. The green flag's in the air, and the Kansas Lottery 300 is green. Down the back straightaway, still side by side. Keselowski on the high side. Right behind them, the 33 of Paul Menard. Keselowski gets a nose out in front as they come down for the first lap, and here comes Carl. He will officially lead, and Menard tucks in behind him.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that today, but I think that probably those 2 cup practices that they had earlier gave Brad Keselowski a lot of confidence in that higher lane.
Well, Paul Menard made a good move getting into turn 1 on Carl Edwards.
Certainly did.
Like he got him a little bit loose, got on that left rear quarter.
It's down low right now. That's the view from Brad Keselowski. Carl's got the position, but here comes Keselowski with a great run off the corner, but he's got nowhere to go.
Bump drafting through the tri-oval.
This is only lap 2. Great action so far, and that's Ryan Truex, the 4th car in this mix.
Yeah, and he's probably saying, I thought these guys were experienced and professionals. What are they doing on lap 2?
Here comes Keselowski on the high side again. He is getting great runs off the corners.
Truex is thinking, are these the same guys that talk about patience early in the race, all that kind of stuff? Whoa, check that out. This is some tight racing here now.
Side by side. Here they come to the stripe again. So far, Edwards has led the first 2 laps. Now it's Brad Keselowski. So we've got our first lead change. And Paul Menard says, hey, I'd like to get into this mix, too.
You see the run that Keselowski gets as he gets back to the throttle. That's going to carry him into trouble.
Look out.
Mike Wallace.
And we also have a second car involved with a tire rub there. Trying to see if that was that the 28 of Derek Cope.
It looked like it was the 28 of Derek Cope. He's got a ton of damage on the right side. He hit that one hard.
So our 1990 Daytona 500 winner has got damage on the left front corner. Saw what happened with Mike Wallace. Take you back, run it through again. Well, there's the view of Kansas City as we are in the nation's heartland. As it is a beautiful October fall day, a little warmer than we usually get when we're out here, but I'll tell you what, the racing's been hot as well early here in the first 13 laps as we are getting ready to go racing again. And before we do, let's talk about NASCAR now, because on the calendar we'll have it for you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern and again at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And then tomorrow 1 over on ESPN, our Sprint Cup Series coverage from Kansas presented by Dodge. And of course, our next stop on the Nationwide Series will be at Charlotte Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, here on ESPN2. Let's quickly check in on the 22 radio.
Damn, that was fun, man. Did you see that? That was a good race.
I'm glad they were having fun because we were having a blast watching them.
Yeah.
Makes them want to do it some more, I guess. Hopefully.
Okay. Nobody got the lucky dog because nobody was down a lap. There are a few that have pulled behind the wall, including J.J. Yeley, T.J. Bell, and Jeff Green, and Charles Lewandowski. It is Brad Keselowski, the race leader. He has selected the high side. No wonder. That's where he's been getting that great momentum coming off the corners. Alongside is Edwards, then Menard, Truex, Stremme, and Scott. That's your top 3 rows. We're green flag again here at Kansas. Boy, he is getting some great bite coming off of that corner.
Yeah, he did that, but he might have to try something a little different the next time on the restart because he didn't fool Carl Edwards at all. He was door to door with him.
They come around side by side for 3rd place back there. You can see Paul Menard's got his hands full with young Ryan Truex. And then behind them, it's Stremme and Scott. Keselowski does manage to open up a couple of car lengths now. And that battle for 3rd is what's really heating up, and there's Menard pulling ahead.
You saw Truex get just a little bit of a run off turn 2. Like he had to check up on the exit, but let Menard get by him.
Back a little bit farther in the field, 18, that is Joey Logano with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., our points leader on the high side. First look at Brian Vickers in the 32 as he's going past his Turner Motorsports teammate Jason Lofton. On board with Vickers, currently running in that 10th spot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch Brian Vickers today. It's his first opportunity in this new car in the Nationwide Series. See how he performs and what kind of information he can get back to this team and if they improve throughout the day.
Left side of your screen, that's Eric Almirola going past the 70 of David Stremme. And here comes Logano trying to get up on the low side as well. Leffler has evened it up again with the 32 of Vickers. A little bit behind is, there you see a 3-car battle. As that's Trevor Bain sneaking in front of the 66 of Stephen Wallace. Slower traffic down on the apron. I believe that is Eric McClure. He's had damage on the right side from that first caution.
They've shown that you can go 3 wide. It's not advised, but you can do it. It's Kevin Harvick making his way towards the front in the 4-car.
And there's Danica Patrick, our first view of her in today's race. As right now, she is running in the 19th position. That's Mike Bliss in the 19. Let's check in on that battle for 4th place right now, because all of a sudden here comes Brian Scott. He's right behind his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate of Ryan Truex.
He's a guy I'm going to be watching all day. He had a great run at Chicago. Got a top 5 finish there. And looks like he's got a strong car today.
Yeah, and I think JGR have to really feel good about their nationwide program with these 2 young drivers coming along. They have to feel like that things are going in a really good direction for them.
Now he is allowed to go down the apron. That's not out of bounds on the 1.5-mile ovals. Let's check in on the 11. How about it, Dave Burns?
What could be considered out of bounds is running into your teammate. That almost happened on the start. Brian Scott started right behind Ryan Truex, and the front row took off. The 20 didn't so much, and they got real close to stacking up. The 11 right now saying the car is a little bit snug. He's changing his lines to try to make it faster. It looks like it is, having passed Ryan Truex. Doc?
Exactly the same for Ryan Truex, making only his 22nd ever start as a NASCAR Nationwide Series driver. And how appropriate, because of Ryan's inexperience, they used the setup from Brian Scott's 11 car from Chicagoland. So the setups are identical. The only difference right now, a little more experience for Brian Scott versus Ryan Truex.
All right, thanks, Doc. And you're wondering where the other member of the Joe Gibbs Racing team is running right now. Joey Logano is running in the 7th spot. As we check in on the battle for 9th place, as here comes Elliott Sadler approaching the 32 of Brian Vickers. Sadler has gotten around Jason Leffler.
Yeah, really making the high lane work. A lot of momentum there. You can get going up there, and we heard earlier, crew chiefs expecting this racetrack to really widen out, and I think the drivers are taking advantage of that right now.
Right now, Stenhouse is 2 positions ahead of Elliott Sadler. Make that 1 because he gets around Vickers. Here's the math with the new points system the way it is. It's 22 points right now. There's 5 races remaining. So roughly, Elliott has to average 5 positions better over the last 5 races to catch and pass the 6 car.
Well, the first thing he's going to have to do is catch and pass the 6 car right now.
Right now.
Yeah, he's got to put him in his mirror every race, and that's starting here today to have any chance whatsoever when you get to Homestead.
You haven't missed anything up front. That is because Brad Keselowski's opened up a 1.2-second lead over Carl Edwards. Paul Menard, 3rd. Scott and Truex round out your top 5 as we're working lap number 16. You're looking at our race leader. That is Brad Keselowski. He has now led a total of 18 of the 20 laps that we have completed here at Kansas Speedway. Right behind him, 1.9 seconds back is Carl Edwards with Paul Menard rounding out your top 3. Let's talk a little bit about the track conditions, the temperature specifically. Wind has been a factor, and this is what makes being a crew chief so much fun, huh?
Yeah, it's a little bit warmer than it was yesterday, but it's also a little cloudy today. So you're going to have that changing as you go throughout the day. Like right now, we've got sun on turns 3 and 4, and well, it looks like we may even have a little bit in 1 and 2. But that's going to be changing. You can see it right there from that shot, how it's not even all the way around the track.
Yeah, and even though we still have some wind, we talked about that yesterday, a little bit on qualifying this morning. It's not nearly what they faced yesterday, so they're not going to have to worry about it quite as much.
Checking in on the battle for 11th. That number 4 is Kevin Harvick. He's looking underneath the 32 of Brian Vickers. This is the 13th and final race in the Nationwide Series this year for Harvick. He has not yet won this season in the Nationwide Series. And Vince, what are you hearing on that car?
Kevin Harvick came over the radio and he told his crew chief, Bruce Cook, right out of the gate, he said, oh my, if we've got 200 laps of this, we're in trouble. This thing is absolutely plowing. But since then, Harvick has made his way up a few positions. And Cook told me before the race, he said, this sunshine's going to throw a lot of teams for a loop. As you see Harvick battling Vickers as Vickers looked on the inside. So the sunshine conditions a lot different than what these teams practiced in.
And you're right, Vince, about that, because the wind has pretty much stayed consistent. It's been breezy yesterday and today, but the sunshine now, a new wrench into the factor. As that battle has sorted itself out with Harvick opening up a bit of a ground, let's check in on Ryan Truex in the 20, the 11 of Brian Scott. They've swapped that position back and forth a few times, and here's Joey Logano. It's the Joe Gibbs Racing Show.
Looks like they got these cars tuned up pretty even today, don't they?
Well, the one thing, that 18 car, remember, that is in the battle for the Owners' Championship. And in the last two races, that car has dropped 35 points to the 60 of Carl Edwards. And right now, the gap is down to 9 because Edwards is running in second. And the 18 car is back in the 5th position. Let's check in with Vince.
Well, Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief on this 18 car with Joey Logano, told me they're struggling a bit with this mile-and-a-half program. And when you look at the Owners' Championships and the rest of the races coming up on the schedule, we're going to see some of those mile-and-a-half. So this is going to be interesting as they come to these mile-and-a-half tracks and see how they run. Right now, Logano says it's a little tight on throttle early in the run, but it's starting to get better and come to him, he said, and that may be bad news for those cars in front of him.
You know what's great between these three drivers for Joe Gibbs Racing right now? The average age is like 21.
Yeah, they feel pretty good about that. I think it's an interesting combination though to put Logano there with Jason Ratcliffe. See, how the communication is. What does Joey do or look for in a car a little different than what Kyle Busch does. So I think it mixes things up well, and it makes them better as a race team as a whole.
And this Owners Championship, I really refer to it as a team championship because they do put different drivers in there. That's that team's way of gauging their success this year. They don't have a consistent driver in there to run for the championship and compete with Ricky Stenhouse, but they are doing that as a team, and it's important to them to win that thing.
And there you see the gap right there. As it stands, currently running lap 27 of 200. While we've been watching all this action, nothing has changed up front except Brad Keselowski has opened up a 3-second margin over second place Carl Edwards. He's trying to get into his own zip code.
I'm surprised that Carl hasn't been able to keep a little better pace with Brad in his early going as fast as he was qualifying and what we've seen in practice.
Well, these were the two best cars in practice yesterday.
Yeah, and Carl said that. He said that the 22 car of Keselowski was going to be really fast today. This 60 car is running good. He's just not quite as good as the 22 car. Jamie?
Well, you heard Vince talk about it, and you guys just mentioned what was yesterday is definitely not today. The sun is definitely throwing the 64 loop as well. Carl started out saying the balance is pretty good. We're really close. But now he's saying we're loose, and it's getting worse. He needs to be tighter. Doc?
Last time on a mile-and-a-half racetrack, Brad Keselowski wore him out at Chicagoland, leading 158 laps. They did not bring the Chicagoland car here. Instead, they bought a brand new 22 car, which they say is even better on mile-and-a-half racetracks. And oh, by the way, this new car is number 222 in the Penske stable. Oman, I don't know, right now it looks pretty good.
Well, what's really great about these two drivers, if you're an Edwards Keselowski fan, they've led the most laps in the last 6 races on the mile-and-a-half tracks, and combined, they've won 4 of the last 6.
Yeah, you talk to those two drivers of those cars, and the one will tell you the other is the best car, and vice versa. So they know they're the guys to beat. But obviously, Brad and his crew have gotten this thing. They anticipated this sun a little bit better than maybe what Carl did. But I think Mike Beam and Carl Edwards do a great job of adjusting this race car throughout these short races. They don't get many opportunities, but boy, they make the right adjustments more times than not.
So much experience Mike Beam has with running these cars in different cars, cup cars, trucks, nationwide cars, and him and Carl seem to really click well, and Carl gives him great information to work with.
So these two have taken over first and second. It's another second and a half back to third place Paul Menard. So it's really looking for the action a little deeper in the field. We've got some good racing going on there, but these three guys up front are pulling away right now at Kansas. Welcome back to the Kansas Lottery 300. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. The 22 of Brad Keselowski going around soon-to-be 70-year-old Morgan Shepherd. Has a birthday next week in the 89 car. He is 26th right now, just going a lap down. The 81 of Blake Cook, second in the Rookie of the Year point standings. He, too, getting ready to go a lap down. Battle for 10th is heating up as the 38 of Jason Leffler is trying to hold off Kevin Harvick. And right behind Harvick is Brian Vickers in the 32.
Yeah, Harvick's been really searching around the racetrack. Reported he has a really tight race car, and you can see it there hurting him on the exit of the corner as he tried to bottom just to get some air on the nose of that car, but not to his liking right now, I don't believe, Vince.
You got that right. Harvick is really frustrated with how tight this car is. In fact, when they come up, they're going to go up on the air pressures all the way around. He says it's so tight, it feels like it's just about to blow the tires. Somehow he still keeps managing to inch his way up. Remember, Harvick started 19th, so currently running 12th. He's gained 7 positions under those conditions, but they've definitely got some work to do on this car at the first stop.
I bet you there's a lot of teams that are can't wait to get to that first pit stop because the sun has really changed this track for a number of drivers. Here's the battle for 6 right now. Brian Scott in the 11 trying to hold off Almirola. Don't know if he's going to be able to do it here. Whoa, Eric slides up a little bit. Still side by side and at the stripe. Brian will officially hold on to the spot, but the battle continues down into 1. One of the things I did notice as a result of Cup final practice, caution, debris on the track just as Kevin Harvick has entered pit road. I have a feeling he did he get in before, or is he going to have to make the pass through? He's going to have to go all the way through.
He's just rolling through to stay on the lead lap.
So the caution has come out for debris here, our second, as we have completed 40 of 200.
That's going to be really early for Harvick. That shows you just how bad that car must have been pushing and abusing that right front tire. He didn't want to take any chances.
He was giving up the 11th position to come in, and now pretty much everybody will come now as we're, just about 10 to 15 laps away from what would have been our scheduled stop.
Yeah, he's able to stay on the lead lap, but he's going to lose all that track position. About 12 spots that he's going to give up.
Can't tell you that the lucky dog will be that man right there, Timmy Hill, leader of the Rookie of the Year point standings, as he gets the free pass, and he'll be able to come back around. That'll put 24 cars on the lead lap. Got a number of cars out. We'll quickly tell you it's Carter, Riggs, Carl Long, Chapman, Chase Miller, Lewandowski, Jeff Green, Bell, and J.J. Yaley. They are all officially now out of the race.
Brad Keselowski is probably the only driver that didn't see that debris out there. The rest of them, I'm pretty sure, saw that as soon as it started being talked about.
It'll be an opportunity for Mike Beam and Carl Everson just on the 60 car.
So they all peel off and head down pit road, and we'll get ready for our first round of pit stops. Dave Burns.
Eric Almirola, he said it's getting to where it's just a 4-wheel slide, but it's really not in the track. It's not tight, it just slides all over the place. So air out of all 4 tires, track bar done for the 6th place runner. Vince?
Joey Logano, left rear of your screen, free in, tight center and exit, 4-tire change, going a half round down on the right rear. Jamie?
Many changes for Carl Edwards, whose car was getting progressively looser. Air pressure in the front. Wedge adjustment, track bar down, 4 tires. He cannot speed here, Doc.
Right lower corner, Brad Keselowski, Sunoco gas going on. He's coming off pit road, and the 60 car will beat him off the pit road. Keselowski next in the 33 of Menard. By the way, just air pressure change for Brad K. He was tight from center off. Guys?
So there you see it, the swap between Edwards and Keselowski. Also Scott and Almirola. Leffler and Vickers also pick up positions on this pit stop. Here's the race off pit road. There's the margin, just about a car length as we hit the break here at Kansas. Under our second caution here at the Kansas Lottery 300 at Kansas Speedway after 43 of 200 laps. And one of our big stories, of course, was Reed Sorensen having to make a shift after being released from the 32 ride. He's in that 82. He went a lap down 7 laps before the caution. He was 27th, but they had problems on pit road. Jamie, what happened?
Well, they did, and I just came and talked to the team. They said they were hitting the splitter too hard on the track, so they brought it in, they lifted up the hood, they checked everything out. They made a wedge adjustment. They were just checking to make sure nothing was broken in there because the way it was riding. So right now they're just keeping their fingers crossed they can get in that lucky dog position and get up there back on the lead lap. It's been a long week for Reed Sorensen, but this team is very thankful to have him behind the wheel.
He is shown in 32nd position right now. A total of 24 cars on the lead lap. It's led by Edwards, Keselowski, Logano, Menard, Scott, and Truex. That's your top 6. Now, what are you wondering about our championship? There's the number 2 of Elliott Sadler, and you're saying, whoa, wait a minute. I thought Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was up there too. Well, Stenhouse did not have a good pit stop. He is back in 14th.
He didn't have the best pit stop. About a second, a little more slower than Carl Edwards, but lost quite a few spots there. I don't know if he had another issue, maybe getting in and out of his pit stall.
Sometimes the load is as much on the driver, DJ, as it is on the crew.
Got to do your job, whether it's on the racetrack or when you get on the pit road.
So we're getting ready for the restart here, and Edwards has selected the high side. And the green flag's in the air, and we're racing again at Kansas.
Brad did a crossover there on him.
And it may pay some dividends for him because Carl came down low, and you're right, DJ, and here they go down towards 3.
Just like the start of the race, these two racing side by side.
And Paul Menard looking on saying, you guys go ahead. I'll just wait for you to make a mistake. And this time Keselowski's going to lead at the stripe. Whoa, getting a little close there. Well, if he thought the first go-around was fun, I bet you Brad's thinking it's fun again.
That's like one of those NBA moves where you're making a little space, Dale, and getting in the corner.
That's exactly right.
You mean giving him a little elbow?
Yeah, just make a little room.
Brad Daugherty will love that analogy.
Yeah, Carl makes it work down on the inside. That's something he wasn't able to do earlier.
Well,
here comes Brad, though.
We've got a little cloud cover over the track right now, so again, it can change the handling of the cars, but you're right, Keselowski, and again they get close to touching. Menard looks like he'd try split the difference between them, but he just can't get close enough.
Yeah, if we get back to this entrance to 1, a lot of drivers were talking to me. They're down the back straightaway now, but as we show them down the front straightaway, it actually narrows up as you try to make your arc into the corner, and that's what makes these cars look like they're going to touch right there. Carl being on the inside. Here comes Brad back to the inside now.
He goes down all the way to the apron. So does Carl.
Oh, what a move.
Look at this. This is like it's the last 5 laps.
Oh, that was a great move, though, by Keselowski. He went into turn 3. He set that whole move up getting into turn 3. He went in really, really high. And it looked like that's the move he wanted to pull, is to make that crossover. And he passed him at the start-finish line.
Turn 2 and the backstretch in sunshine. Everywhere else has cloud cover right now. The battle for 5th. As you see, Eric Almirola in the 88. Ryan Truex in the 20. The 11 of Brian Scott. And, whoa, this is getting tight.
This time, but you can see the draft taking effect a little bit there. Brian Scott pulled up behind his teammate, Ryan Truex, pushed him back by the 88, Eric Almirola.
2 of Elliott Sadler tried to hook onto that freight train as well. Can't quite get close enough. He's got Vickers to deal with in that 32.
It's like Vickers is catching on to these Nationwide cars.
Yeah, he's doing okay. His car was good at the start of the race when the tires were fresh too. We'll see, of course, right up in front of Elliott Sadler. Gives him a little bit of a tap there, back to his outside.
Elliott has definitely decided to run the high line. And I was getting ready to say, but we were talking about Sprint Cup final practice, which was right before our race. And right before we went to break, I was noticing the guys were starting to run the groove a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Now we're seeing it here as well.
Yeah, a lot of those Cup cars, with all the power that they have, were right up against the wall, the latter portions of that.
Well, let's get an update on Elliott Sadler as he now gets passed by Brian Vickers again. This battle keeps going, Jamie.
Yes, it does. He continues. Oh, and he goes right by him again for the 9th position. But just before that round stops, Marty, Elliott Sadler radioed in that he was smelling smoke in the cockpit. He said at first it smelled like bleach. So you can imagine the look on everybody's face in his pit. And then he waited a little bit and he said, now it kind of smells like brakes. So nothing seems to be of any concern right now, but they are keeping an eye on that. They made some big changes on that last stop. Track bar down 2 rounds to get that car more stable.
Sadler running in the 8th position. Stenhouse 4 positions back. That's 4 points.
Yeah, I've heard the drivers saying that the brakes kind of have that ammonia smell to them. I've never heard bleach, but I guess that's kind of akin to ammonia, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably what he was trying to get to. A lot of times, too, that you'll get a smell inside the car. You see Elliott now going back to the inside trying to make a pass on Brian Scott. But you'll get sometimes they repaint some stuff in the car. You'll get a smell from that as that kind of new paint kind of burns off. So a lot of things happen there, but as a driver, you don't want to be smelling anything unusual inside there.
Yeah, Rusty, I don't know whether it's ammonia or bleach. All I know is it stinks. What do you think?
I know any type of smell inside the car is going to distract the driver. There's no doubt about that. And I heard Andy talking earlier about it being a new car, and some of that new car smell can be, a driver can smell that as it burns the paint off the floorboard because of the exhaust system. Well, that happens all the time, and he's exactly right about that. I'd give this thing about 20 or 30 more laps. If that smell's still there, it's probably something different than the paint or something like that. But I will tell you, it completely distracts the driver, and it's one thing you hate.
Well, that battle continues now as Vickers has fallen back a little bit. And
Yeah,
look at this three-car group.
I'm seeing something different from Elliott Sadler's car here, too, that I didn't see. He's got some speed on fresh tires and able to go to the bottom and make passes here. So I think they've really made an adjustment that is suiting Elliott right now.
Well, what's really impressive is he was able to run the high side effectively. Now you pointed out he's gone to the low side. If he can run both, it gives him the whole racetrack to work with where other guys can't do that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it gives you a lot of options.
Let's get an update on the car that's right behind him. Brian Scott in that 11. How about it, Dave Burns?
He loves this racetrack. It's one of his favorites, and says it's like driving Chicago. Well, he finished third there a couple of weeks ago. So far, the car has been snug in the center by his description, and then when he picks up the gas right about here, it wants to go even snugger, or tight, as he says. So he's losing some positions here. They made a wedge adjustment to try to account for that.
Well, while you have updated and we've been watching all this great action in the top 10 going on, we'll tell you that our race leader, Brad Keselowski, has opened up a 2.2-second lead. So right now, that 22 is dialed in as he is trying to pull away again and doing it successfully from Carl Edwards. Under our third caution here after 64 of 200 laps at the Kansas Speedway, and Kevin Harvick is in pit road, and there is the problem. Dave, bring us up to date.
Well, Marty, that was them just a couple of moments ago working on trying to get half of the splitter off. They have another half ready to put on, but they were never able to dislodge it completely. Since then, Kevin has been back on the track. They brought it back around to pit road, and now they're fueling the car and trying to maybe just snug it up on pit road. Tim Brewer, the Craftsman Tech Garage, is pretty tough working with these splitters, isn't it?
Yeah, but we've got a really unique view this week. Hey, you look at the splitter, everybody knows what it looks like out here. But behind the ductwork, behind the framing of the car, this is the area. This is a piece of 1-inch square tubing. You see these bungs right here? That's where the bolts come up through the bottom of the splitter and affixes to the nose. But that's what the car looks like behind the nose with all the ductwork, all the brake ducts, and the splitter itself. Guys?
Yeah, one thing that's going to do for Kevin, though, when he loses that splitter is just kill the front downforce. Most of that front downforce comes from that splitter.
All right, other big news. It involves our points leader, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He was caught too fast entering pit road. The speed limit's 45. He finished 9th at Kentucky in his only other speeding penalty in 2011. So he's going to have to restart at the back of the field. Up front, it is Brad Keselowski, Carl Edwards, Menard, Truex, Bain, Leffler, and we're green. Try it 3 wide into 1.
Oh, look at this move to the middle.
Ryan Truex.
Oh, it almost worked.
Almost, not quite. Carl Edwards gets a good restart. Keselowski's right behind him, still 3 wide. It's Paul Menard down low in the 33.
Carl Edwards actually beat Brad Keselowski to the line right there. We'll have to see. I don't know if he's given the spot back here or if Brad's just that much better, but you can't beat the leader back to the line on the restart.
So Keselowski in front now, and again we're 3 wide. You saw the 11 of Brian Scott, followed by Vickers, go down on the apron.
Uh-oh, looks like Allgaier got squeezed in the wall coming off 2.
Check to see if he's got any damage on the right side of that race car.
Yeah, looks like Trevor Bain just squeezed him right into the outside wall coming off 2. A lot of heavy-duty racing going on back there. Uh-oh, now Allgaier's out of shape off 4.
Yeah, he's got some issues. He's down low on the racetrack, and he's going to get passed on the high side. 14th when all this started.
He was making a nice move here. He was up on the outside going through the corner. It's like Trevor just gets a little bit loose, gets into Allgaier.
And from Allgaier's on board.
Top of 3 still. Stay with it. Come on. Clear here. Run coming inside.
There he is now as the action continues. He's side by side with Danica Patrick. That is for 18th on the racetrack.
You can see Trevor Bain put his hand out the window, kind of saying sorry about that, but you don't think much about that at the time. We have a battle here for third.
38 of Jason Leffler. Then you've got the 88 of Eric Almirola and the 2 of Elliott Sadler. And if you want to talk about how big that penalty could possibly be, right now the points would be down to 7. If that was late in the race, luckily for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he has a chance to recover from this speeding penalty.
Well, we saw a lot of cars pit under that caution. Most of them took just fuel. Carl Edwards and a few others. Joey Logano got 4 tires. So that's why you see Keselowski able to still drive away from him. They're pretty well on even tires in the top 4 or 5.
Yeah, remember, Brad Keselowski did not pit.
All that's really going to do is just put Keselowski on pit road under green about 20 laps earlier than the rest of these cars need to come down pit road. But what we've seen before is when one of the lead cars makes a green flag pit stop, it seems like it drags everybody else in. So I'm not sure this is going to hurt Keselowski at all by not making that pit stop.
And really not seeing a move from Logano with those 4 tires. That shows me that, wow, there's just a ton of speed right there at the very beginning.
One guy that has helped is right there, the 88 of Eric Almirola. He's restarted in 9th with 4 fresh tires. And right now he is up to 4th.
Yeah, and Elliott Sadler, this car is much better than what it has been. You can see him take that 4th spot away. He's actually moving in on Carl Edwards and Paul Menard.
He's taking it away from Almirola right there, and Almirola's still trying to fight his way back, but here he comes as they are side by side with the 60 and the 33, and Sadler has nowhere to go right now. Now he's going to kick a field goal.
This is what I've seen from Elliott here. He's moved around a little bit. He's gone to the middle of the racetrack. He didn't have the grip that he wanted. He was using up too much racetrack on the outside, but he's really found that middle to be to his liking right now.
He's gotten around Carl Edwards. That's Almirola, the 4th car in that pack. .20 of Ryan Truex is coming in pit lane. What is going on, Doc?
He just shouted about 2 laps ago, Marty. He said, I am sideways. I am wrecking sideways. I can't hang on to it. He said something is bad wrong. Something wrong. He was just dropping out of the top 20 because he just couldn't get in the throttle at all. So now they're going to bring him in. Remember, they did not change tires on the last stop. Just topped it off with Sunoco fuel and made a half round of a track bar. And now bringing him in. It looks like all 4 tires are up. But he said the car just simply would not turn without heading for the wall.
He restarted 4th. He gave up 17th position. That's how far he had dropped just to come in, and now he's a lap down.
And I tell you, as a young driver, sometimes it's difficult to determine. That fuel in that car, it may not be a lot. You hadn't put a lot of laps, but anything put behind those rear tires will give you a different feel of the race car. And when you go back and the tires have been cycled through, it's just a totally different feel. You don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, what you're talking about there, he just got fuel. They didn't get tires, so you know, when you get 4 tires and filled up with fuel, it kind of makes up for that difference of that extra weight of that fuel behind. But when you don't, you put it on with hot tires. Wow, look at Paul's out of shape coming off the corner.
And Almirola's going to try and take advantage of it. You saw the graphic there. Almirola's had 17 top 10 finishes this year, including 9 in the last 11. How about some more, Dave?
You know, Pops, Yuri, and Eric have had an ongoing discussion this year about this race car. It's hard to make Eric happy. So when I talked to Pops yesterday about how they were doing as he gets a little push from Paul Menard there, Pops said, hey, we finally made him happy in practice. He said Eric really liked the balance of the car. They were just looking for a little more speed, and so far they're showing that that car is set up right for the Kansas Speedway.
Almirola in 3rd right now, 4 seconds behind our race leader, Brad Keselowski. His lead over 2nd place, Elliott Sadler, is 3 seconds. So that's your top 3, and you're saying, where is Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the points leader? Well, he has fought his way back to 13th, but Elliott Sadler, as you see, is running 2nd.
3 teams ranked in the top 15 will be featured on ESPN and ABC's Saturday Night Football games. First, SEC West rivals meet on ESPN at 7 as the 15th-ranked Tigers take on the 10th-ranked Razorbacks. And on Saturday Night Football at 8 Eastern on ABC, it's the Buckeyes and the Cornhuskers. College football on ESPN and ABC tonight. Here in Kansas, we are 82 laps in, and one driver has been far and away the most dominant. Brad Keselowski back out to that very comfortable, nearly 4-second lead.
Oh, man, he has been almost 2 3/10 of a second most of the race. Have hit everybody, and I've been begging to take a look at this right here because I want to see how fast this guy is going and what type of RPM he's turning, because, Brad, these cars don't turn near as many RPM as Cup cars, but they seem like they run the corner much faster.
Yeah, we've been watching Brad as he goes through the corners. He makes these big, wide, arcing turns and just really keeps that momentum wound up, and he's keeping those RPMs up there pretty stout, too, Rusty. He slides through that corner. Woo!
Championship implications, because in second we have Elliott Sadler. And we say championship implications because the 6th car of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. started 24th after a speeding penalty on pit road, but he's now up to 11th.
Well, he steamed his way back up through the field, too. I mean, just picking them off as you see him go under David Strinney here, looking to pick off another one. He is on a rail trying to get back up into that top 5. Ricky Stenhouse, he's wearing that right front tire out trying to get there, though.
Well, he's driving his brains out. He doesn't want to lose any points. He's got 4 fresh tires in that car. He's just flying through the field right now. But I will tell you, the farther he gets, the harder it's going to pass these cars. Because generally when you get to the front of the field, that's where the good cars are at.
As they run right now, it's a 13-point gap between first and second. If you're looking for the driver of the 32 car, now normally that would be Reed Sorensen. Today and next week, that's Brian Vickers, the 32 car, just passing Brian Scott to get into 4th place. Reed Sorensen has been the driver of that car. No, today he's in the 82. And as they won right now, he's losing ground on 3rd place in the championship.
He really is, and he's done a pretty good job in this race car. He was in the lucky dog position up until about a lap ago. Ryan Truex has now slid to that position, so he needs to race Ryan Truex at 20 car pretty hard. He is maintaining, though, the 3rd place points position right now by just 2 over Eric Almirola.
But it is an opportunity for Eric Almirola because Sorensen has said this weekend he's reevaluating his championship goals throughout the rest of the season. It's his goal now just to maintain his spot in the top 5. Almirola, though, now has the opportunity to move up to the top 3.
Well, he's running good enough to do that. Hey, I'm watching something right here. Look at the hood on that car. That baby's been really caved in on the straightaways and all through the corners. And I know that's not on purpose. A lot of the times they build these cars so light, those hoods just cave in, and that baby there is really caving in.
Yeah, it is, really is.
We wanted some drama in these final races. Oh, caution on the track. Marty?
And you can see the reason why, as up in smoke, is the 15 of Timmy Hill. He is the leader right now coming into this race in the Rookie of the Year standings. He was running 22nd at the time. Blake Cook, his closest competitor, 27th. The man with an outside shot at the Rookie of the Year title is Ryan Truex, and he's run a lot fewer races, but remember, they only
I got the car cut up. I don't want to, if it's just a line, I don't want to kill it. So
they only take your top 16 results at season's end. So now, Brad Keselowski, who did not stop the last time, crew chief, what do you think? This is sort of paid some dividends.
He's going to pit this time. See what the other guys do. We had some of them get 4 tires on that last stop, which is going to use up one of their allotted sets.
Yeah, that group that got 4 tires last time, I don't think they can come get 4 tires this time.
Remember, they are
cutting it close.
Yeah, they have 5 sets, 1 on the car, 4 behind the wall for the entire race. And this is our 4th caution.
Elliott Sadler, looks like Brian Vickers. There's quite a few cars. Joey Logano changed 4 tires last time out. Looks like, well, Brad faked pit road, decided not to come.
It's closed.
Oh,
it was closed, so that's why he had to go around. There's the crossed flag. We can tell you that Kevin Harvick will get the lucky dog. That'll get him back on the lead lap. Remember, he had that splitter problem. That was what brought out our 3rd caution. Harvick went a lap down 2 laps before the caution because of that damage.
Yeah, he actually came out way late, right before that last restart. He was about a half lap down to start that run and then got lapped just before the caution came out.
Let's get an update on that 4 car. How about it, Vince?
Well, the deal with Kevin Harvick early on, we told you about how tight he was from the very beginning, so he was riding down on the apron trying to get that car freed up and just had too much travel in the front end and did that damage to the splitter. When they came on pit road, NASCAR told them they needed to fix that behind the wall, so that's why they went behind the wall initially. Harvick says they're still trying to get that car to more of his liking. Certainly it's been a handful in the early going for crew chief Bruce Cook.
Well, they do catch a break right there, and there you can see on the right side, looks like they're getting another piece ready. As there is what's left. It still hasn't been fully replaced. You saw what Tim Brewer did over in the Craftsman Tech Garage. So show you what the guys are going to have to deal with when they do bring him in. We can tell you the pit road is now open.
Repair, I would think.
So that means Brad Keselowski will come. We'll see if there are any other takers behind him. Sadler is going to come as well. In fact, it looks like everybody's pretty much coming. So the gamble paid off for Keselowski, and we'll check in first with Dave Burns.
He is running third place. That's Eric Almirola, upper left. They will take Sunoco fuel. They will take no tires. A wedge adjustment because the car got looser on that run. Vince?
Timmy Hill, who blew up, was right in front of Joey Logano in the pit box, so Logano has to take a little different entry into the pit box. Another half round down on the track bar with 4 tires. Jamie?
Best the car's been all day, right sides only, but they're previously run. They have 15 laps on those right sides, Doc.
4 tires for Brad K. Now, crew chief said, guys, got to get it full of fuel. Soft jack, go on my fuel. They're waiting on fuel, going to wait on fuel. And the car is stalled. 22 is stalled, and Brad Keselowski trying to get it refired. Finally does. They got it full of fuel, but he lost about 4.5 extra seconds by stalling it on pit road, guys.
And it is really going to set him back in this field.
Well, what they're trying to do is to make it on one more stop from here. Needed to get it full of fuel, but they didn't plan on choking the car down on pit road.
Take a look at the race off pit road. Eric Almirola taking no tires. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. putting himself back into play. Stay with us. We're coming back. Under our 4th caution here at Kansas Speedway, as a slow pit stop for the 22, and who happens to be our in-race reporter, Brad Keselowski, now finds himself back in 14th position after dominating this race. And here's what happened on the pit stop.
They're getting a 4-tire change here, and they're going to get it full of fuel. So they're going to set it down. Well, they actually had pulled the can out.
And let's talk to him, DJ.
Hey, Brad, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Hey, just asking, did you make that little mistake there coming off the pit road for our and our viewers' benefit to show how good this race car is?
Well, maybe. Hopefully I learned something there so I won't do it again tomorrow. That's what this program's all about, is learning, giving opportunities. So opportunity there, and I didn't make the most of it, so I got something to learn from and do better tomorrow. But this car has been really good. The Discount Tire Dodge Challenger is, man, it's on rails. It really is, Dale, and I feel very lucky to have a car this good. But, you know, it's not going to be easy. Nobody's going to hand this to us. I think Carl's car is pretty good, too. He's maybe playing a little possum on me, so just have to keep working on it and keep doing our best and not make mistakes like I just did.
Well, I know you don't do that much, and I'm pretty sure your crew would say they got the right driver in there driving that good car, too. Thanks for talking with us.
Hey, thanks, guys. Let's have a good one.
And as we said, he's going to put on a show for us because he's going to restart 14th behind race leader Eric Almirola. The last time he led was Daytona in July, and he's only led 22 laps all year, and that's Kevin Harvick's crew. He's on the lead lap right now, but they're still trying to fix that front splitter.
Still working our 4th caution at Kansas as we approach halfway. If you're just joining us, the 5-Hour Energy Rapid Recap getting us caught up on what has happened, and that is Reed Sorensen not in the 32. Released from Turner Motorsports today, you will find him in the 82 car. Points battle. Elliott Sadler having a good day.
He's running really good right now. He's got himself up to, he's still second in points, but he's picked up a couple points in Ricky Stenhouse. Probably one of the best runs I've seen Elliott had in a while.
Yeah, we saw Ricky Stenhouse get himself a pit road speeding violation and had to go back to the back of the field and basically work his way back up through the field.
Right now he's 4th.
Yeah, he's 4th.
Danica Patrick, one race away from becoming a full-time NASCAR driver. Here she is in her last part-time start.
Good solid run for her so far. No dents in that car. She's running 17th.
Kevin Harvick in the field today to help his teammate Elliott Sadler. But Harvick's not having a great day.
Oh, he's had a splitter that was dragging the ground and finally failed. The guy's got the splitter changed right now. Harvick's in 23rd with a new splitter, 4 tires. I think this dude's getting ready to go to the front.
And then there's the most dominant car in the field today. Brad Keselowski has led 84 laps of the 94 we have now run. But you just saw it, some trouble on that pit stop.
He's been so fast, though. I'm excited to watch him restart here at 14th and see how fast he can come up through the field. Still got that sore foot from the wreck at Road Atlanta and stalled the car that came off the jack. So let's see what he's got.
I'll tell you what's been an incredible performance so far this race with Brad Keselowski. I don't think I've ever seen that much horsepower under the hood of a car all year long. This baby has got some steam under there, Brad.
Yes, it does.
I'll tell you what, these restarts, Marty, have certainly been exciting. I'm very much looking forward to see how this one's going to unfold.
Well, let me tell you, it took Stenhouse 21 laps to move from 24th to 14th. Or to 10th during that last run. That's 14 spots. Brad K is starting 14th on this restart, and he's going to be tracking down. Let's see how long it takes him to get to the front. It is Almirola, the race leader, Elliott Sadler, Vickers, Stenhouse Jr., Stremme, and Scott, and the green flags in the air. Faces up front that we haven't seen, especially this big a group. We talked about some guys who could potentially take advantage of the situation. Eric Almirola, who has been talking all day yesterday about not having enough horsepower. He's out in front. Second place is Sadler. Brian Vickers in his maiden run this year in that 32 car. Third, and look at the side-by-side on back.
Yeah, David Stremme in that 70. He's racing Ricky Stenhouse. That 4th spot. Racing him hard, too.
Yeah, Stremme doing a great job in this car. This is not a team that has a lot of experience and a lot of funding, but they've got a really talented race driver in David Stremme. Whoa, 3 wide.
And Stenhouse is in a position he doesn't want to be in. That's Menard underneath him, and boy, does he make the right decision.
Yeah, that was a good decision by Stenhouse. And look, sort out.
Look who just went past him, the 22 of Brad Keselowski. And Keselowski saying, Stremme, move.
Oh, boy, he's got to be a little bit careful right there. That's Stremme a little bit loose through the tri-oval.
Got him out front, though.
Keselowski.
Man, look at this run Keselowski gets off turn 2.
He is a man on a mission. In 2 laps, he's gone from 14th to 8th. DJ, you asked him if he was going to put on a show for us. He is.
Who does he think he is? Kyle Busch driving like that in this series or something? What?
There's Stenhouse as he has got his teammate Carl Edwards right in front of him. Carl was the other car that was running up front until the last couple of rounds of pit stops. And Stel finds himself back in that 8th position. Hasn't been able to find that early race magic.
This car, Keselowski, is just unbelievable. Look at this.
This is for 4th on the racetrack, and he's making it look easy going underneath Joey Logano.
He said this thing was on a rail, and he just takes it wherever he needs to go to pass the next car in front of him.
Bye-bye, Brian. Look at how long he stays down there and then shoots right up onto the track. The next victim is Elliott Sadler. We should point out Stenhouse is falling back to the 9th position now. And Elliott Sadler's still in 2nd, so that's what he needs to see happen in this points championship battle. But the worst thing you can see right now is that 22 in his mirror.
Yeah, I hope those guys got their doors welded on good.
Let's go speeds at the line. Let me guess who's number 1.
Let me guess.
Yes, by a small margin.
Wow, goes past Elliott. Look at
this move.
This is impressive.
Oh, I'm telling you. Look at that.
Yeah, talk about Stenhouse going from 24th to 10th. Now, that's obviously you're passing some cars that aren't quite as good. This was 14th to the lead.
4.5 laps. That's all it took. Oh, golly. There's going to be people going, okay, what's he got in this thing? Nitromethane?
Yeah, now what?
I'm serious, and I say it in a complimentary way. That's the things that we see Kyle Busch has done in this series of getting himself, caught up, getting in situations of doing things different and just blowing by. So Brad has this thing worked out today. I'm sure he hopes that 2 car will be this good tomorrow.
Eric Almirola slipping back now. He has dropped to 4th. There goes Elliott Sadler in 2nd. with Menard right there in third, and he may lose another spot because here comes Joey Logano and Carl Edwards. Let's get more on that 60 car. What's been going on with Carl Edwards, Jamie?
Well, he was struggling with the loose race car the first couple of stints today, and they worked on that left rear of the car, adding some wedge. Well, he said, we need to work on the right rear of that car, and that's exactly what they did last stop. They put 4 tires on it, and they pulled a right rear spring rubber. Now, Carl's staying optimistic that they are going to have some long runs here. He said, we'll be good in the tire department. But right now, the car isn't bad. He just doesn't have anything for the 22 or the guys ahead of him.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Let me clean up one item. We never did give you the 4 waiver rounds. Cope, McClure, Truex, and Gase, and that's important for Ryan Truex. Gets him back on the lead lap. Let's drop back to the battle for 13th. There's Danica Patrick. She has got the spot. That's Michael Annett right in front of her. Trevor Bayne right behind her. And this is about the highest she's run all day. She's sort of been between this spot and mostly between 15th and 20th.
Yeah, been really solid on the racetrack, though, making passes. Very competitive here today, and this isn't the easiest racetrack to figure out, but she's done a nice job.
Dave, what's the latest you hear from the 7 camp?
Well, Marty, they have gotten on both sides of the balance issue, and that's a good thing for crew chief Tony Uri and for Danica. It started out tight, and it got to the loose side, so they tried to pull it back just a little bit on this last stop. Danica said, I'm relying on Tony to give me a good car on race day. She said every day so far this year, he has given me a better car than in practice. It looks like, once again, she's driving it well. It's a better race car. Vince?
Well, in that 14 of Trevor Bayne, you see looking underneath the inside of Danica Patrick, going for that move there to gain the position. Bayne has been fighting his car throughout the course of the day, just haven't had any grip. They've done just about everything they can do. Wedge, track bar, rubber out of the right rear. They're really putting crew chief Chad Norris to the test today in the 16 of Trevor Bayne.
And Bayne coming off a 6th place run at Dover last week. That's the first time he had cracked the top 10 since Watkins Glen when he finished 9th on the road course. Side by side, Brian Scott and Eric Almirola. That is for position, the 6th position on the racetrack. And with 95 laps to go, guess who's out front? Brad Keselowski. He put on a great show for us for 4.5 laps as he sliced and diced his way to the lead once again. Here at Kansas Speedway, the early going of this race, Brad Keselowski made a statement. He said, fellas, if you're going to win, you're going to have to go through me. He has led a total of 95 laps. One glitch. This pit stop setting back to 14th, but it only took 4.5 laps for him to regain the lead. I mean, he carved through this field better than, well, we'll carve Thanksgiving turkey next month, as he has now built a 3.5-second lead, again, just dominating here at Kansas with 88 laps to go. Why don't we go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance, pick it up with all the guys that are trying to track him down, and 2nd place is Paul Menard. How about it, Dr. Jerry Punch?
Thank you, Marty. He started 4th, running 2nd, and he said this a moment ago, and I quote, really good balance now. Our car is really doing well. In fact, he's running so well, he ran a 33.39 last lap. The only problem is the guy he's chasing ran a 33.09. How about Carl Edwards? Jamie?
He started from the pole for the 6th time this year. He's back at his home track, a place he's never won at here or in the Sprint Cup Series. He told his crew chief in Victory Lane last week, I want to win at Kansas. That has been their focus. The car hasn't been good enough yet, but he is moving to the front, Vince.
Well, in the 18 of Joey Logano running 4th, and they've really been working on this car, trying to get it to get into the corner a little bit better. In fact, crew chief Jason Ratcliffe just asked Joey, have our adjustments helped your entry more or hurt your exit more? And Logano said the entry is pretty close. If they can get the exit to 1 and 2, they're going to be pretty good. Jamie?
And behind him, Elliott Sadler, after coming off a race last week at Dover, they called a disaster. They ended up 14th, 1 lap down. They wanted redemption this weekend. He hasn't raced here since 2005. So far today, they've worked together, made the right changes, and the car is getting better. Dave?
Jamie, keep an eye on your Twitter account this week. Brian Scott told me this morning they may have an interesting sponsor announcement this week in Charlotte. Stay tuned for that. So far today, the car has been tight to start. They got it to the loose side, and right now he's maintaining that 6th place position. Vince?
Well, in the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., our points leader, has had to come back from a pit road speeding violation. Liked his race car in the early going. They want to be careful. They've gotten into a couple of tight spots with other cars around them, so they've had some close calls today. Certainly going to err on the side of conservative with the championship on the line. The 16 of Trevor Bayne, boy, he's had a handful today. Really been fighting the grip on this race car. They finished 6th last week at Dover, looking to build on that momentum today and throughout the remainder of the season to set the stage for a solid season next year. Dave Burns?
Jason Leffler getting underneath the 88 of Eric Almirola. Leffler has been tight. Well, okay, Almirola's going to get back around the outside of Leffler. Remember, Almirola was the restart leader. He did not change tires on that stop. It's hurting him now. Loose in and loose across the middle, according to the 88 driver. The 38 car has been mostly tight today. They took 4 tires on that last stop. Jason trying to work into and keep into the top 10.
The 4 car of Kevin Harvick. It's been an adventurous day for Harvick as well. They come into the pits on 3 separate occasions to address that front splitter damage, even behind the wall once. They believe they've got the splitter as good as it's going to get. You see the damage there on the left front of Harvick's car. A lot of tape and a lot of repair has gone into that car, but right now Harvick says it's pretty good. Dave?
James Buescher has driven from 28th starting spot to a 12th position right now. They didn't take 2 tires or no tires at any time. They took 4 on all their stops. And as for James' job security with everything that's going on at Turner Motorsports, don't forget, he's planning on marrying Steve Turner's daughter in the offseason, so he's going to be his father-in-law. That's no secure. He says, my father-in-law of the future treats me as hard as anybody on this team. Marty?
All right, Dave, rounding out the top 15, it's Michael Annett, Danica Patrick, and Brian Vickers running 15th. There are a total of 24 cars on the lead lap. 10 cars are officially out of this race. There's your top 5 at Kansas. We've got 82 laps to go. Welcome back to the Kansas Lottery 300, and make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information as you look at our race leader and the man who's dominated this event today. Brad Keselowski's led a total of 108 laps, even despite a problem on pit road that dropped him all the way back to 14th. And as we drop back a little further, Paul Menard is running in 2nd spot. Carl Edwards is 3rd. Joey Logano in the 18 is 4th. And Elliott Sadler, coming into view here in the not-too-distant future, there he is, in the number 2, is running 5th. And we're hearing reports, Jamie Little, that the smell is back again?
Well, we reported earlier he was having a strange smell in there. Well, just recently, his crew chief, Ernie Cope, updated his driver about what that exactly was.
I know what that smell is, Elliott. When we push the brakes back, it pushed it out of the master cylinder and put brake fluid got on your headers.
All right, yeah, that could be it, because it smells like a brake feel. When my engine gets hot, the hotter everything gets, the worse it gets.
Yeah, and it's hard to burn that brake fluid away because it boils at such a high point. But when they just changed the tire, Lauren could see in there, and you saw that that happens sometimes when we pull the pads back. It pushes some fluid out of the master cylinder.
Okay.
You had a good nose, though. I mean, you smelled the right thing.
And just afterwards, Elliott Sadler said for the first time this year, the floorboards are hot, my feet are burning, and it feels like I'm burning a hole in my right rear heel. So for more on hot floorboards and weird smells, let's go to the Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim Brewer, what's he talking about?
Jamie, in my line of work, I've heard everything. Hey, I smell this, I smell that. But hey, it's good that Elliott smelled that. But what happened there? When they push the pistons back in the calipers, the fluid level comes up. And when your car goes down in the corner, all the fluids in the car are going over the right side. But when it spills over, it goes right down here, and these headers are 1,300 degrees. That's where the smoke's coming from. Now, the heat right back in this area, that's where the gas pedal's at. His foot's about 3 inches above those exhaust pipes, and that's the reason his foot's burning. Marty?
And as you see, Elliott Sadler continues to keep that foot in the gas pedal as he is 5th on the racetrack. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the man he's chasing in the points championship, is running in 8th.
He's doing his job. You don't need all those distractions as a driver. It will disrupt you a little bit because of that smell, and certainly with your foot burning, that's a very uncomfortable feeling. Elliott doing a good job.
He goes around the 40 of Josh Wise, who's 3 laps down in 30th position. Check in on the battle for, it looks like 16th on the racetrack as Danica Patrick and Ryan Truex are going after each other. Ryan, of course, got the wave around. That got him back on the lead lap, and these two have been going after him. Whoa! And there's a little slip by the 20. They're doing this for the last couple of laps.
Yeah, Truex got a lot of laps on his tires after having to make that green flag pit stop. He'll have to get in the pits sooner than these others, but he's doing a nice job. Danica doing a good job, too. She actually has lost a couple of spots. Looks like maybe the handling's gone away a little bit, but they're still doing a fine job.
And that is Angela Cope in the 23 right in front of Danica. Angela several laps down.
Nice move.
And, of course, Danica will be completing her IndyCar career next week at Las Vegas. You'll see that race on ABC at 3 o'clock Eastern, as that'll be her final event in the IRL. Let's get more on what's happening today on that 7 car. Dave?
The last run, Marty, for the first time today was really loose. Just one word out of Danica's mouth, loose on the last run. She hadn't said anything this run, so we're watching her try to handle Ryan Truex at this point. She will lose that position. Told me yesterday, okay, she's going to take it back. But yesterday she told me, coming back in after missing a couple of nationwide races, she says, I'm very comfortable when I come back. Whether I've been here, I'm comfortable in these cars. When I miss a couple of races, I'm comfortable when I come back. And of course, full time will give her even more comfort behind the wheel of a stock car.
And, of course, one of the guys that is going to be one of her owners when she does the limited schedule in NASCAR Sprint Cup action next year is Tony Stewart. He talked about her decision to come full-time to NASCAR.
I see a lot of driving determination in her. There's a lot of people that say they want to do this, and you know, she was in a spot in the IRL where, you know, she was one of the most sought-after drivers there. So to make that commitment and she didn't do it halfway. When she made the decision that she was going to NASCAR, she said, this is what I'm going to do 100%.
And about the only question mark still left on that schedule for next year is obviously what races she will do in Sprint Cup, but also whether or not she will run the Indianapolis 500. That has yet to be officially decided. So she continues right now. That battle sort of has faded as Ryan Truex has opened up a little bit more ground on her. And no one's catching Brad Keselowski, we can tell you that. There's Brad as he's about to put Mike Bliss a lap down. Bliss is the 21st car. And here he's coming on Stephen Wallace, who's in 20th. His lead over second place is 8.7 seconds. On board with Stephen. He's trying hard to stay on the lead lap. There's Brad going around Angela Cope. Angela, 31st position, now 4 laps down. Take a look at the drop-off in the speeds, which is directly related to the tires.
Yeah, just put laps on these tires. They just keep losing grip, lose a little bit of speed every single lap. And now you can see how much slower Brad's running than he was with those fresh tires.
Ryan Truex is back on pit road, and let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch. What's going on, Doc?
Well, Marty, as DJ said, he has to come in earlier than other people because of being off schedule in that pit stop because of the having to change 4 tires and the car was sideways. He said, check the right rear quarter panel. I got into contact with Danica Patrick. They looked at it, chassis adjustment, 4 tires, topping it off with Sunoco fuel. He asked him to tighten the car up. Still very, very loose on entry down the way. Going to be close, but he can make it on fuel. Maybe about 3 laps shot. Okay?
He gave up 17th spot, and the race leader, there you see him go zipping by as Brad Keselowski has now put him a lap down. There's your top 5, 64 laps to go, and yes, we could have a round of green flag stops and then maybe a race to the checkers.
Jamie, it must be pretty darn cool to be the driver of the #1 Bass Pro car.
Yeah, and in fact, one of the biggest perks, I get free shipping on all my BassPro.com orders when I pick them up at the store.
Jamie, everybody gets free shipping that way.
You mean everybody who's won the Daytona 500.
You're unbelievable.
Everybody gets free shipping at BassPro.com when you ship to the store with no minimum purchase. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here.
Where winners are celebrated, champions are crowned, and legends are born. Home of the biggest events in motorsports, ESPN and ABC.
Let's talk a little bit about what's coming up on the calendar because we have NASCAR now. 2 editions tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. Eastern. And we've got a caution on the racetrack, so we'll finish up with our Sprint Cup coverage at 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN tomorrow. It's presented by Dodge. And then next week, Friday, 7 Eastern on ESPN2, our next stop is at Charlotte for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And there is Josh Wise as he is making his way down pit road. This is our 5th caution.
You can see the smoke trailing out of that 40 car.
Yep, as he has obviously had some issues that have put him behind the wall.
Oh, that looks like an engine. Big time. Man. Did a good job getting that thing out of the way, getting it on the apron.
That's a lot worse than Elliott Sadler's smoke that he was talking about earlier.
That's what he hopes it doesn't turn into.
So that big lead for Brad Keselowski has dwindled again. It was like 11 seconds. It was ridiculous. David Stremmy's going to get the lucky dog. He had fallen 1 lap down. Don't feel bad. There were only 17 cars on the lead lap. That's how good this 22 car has been today. So that'll give us 18 back on the lead lap.
Yeah, great for Danica Patrick there. She was just a couple of seconds from being lapped also.
She and Kenny Wallace.
On her car a little bit. Yep, Kenny Wallace able to stay there.
On board with Danica as we'll wait. Now, let's see, 58 laps to go. Mathematically, everybody should be able to go.
Well, mathematically, they should be able to.
Pits are open, and our race leader has peeled off. So has Paul Menard. And let's check in first, again, with Dave Burns.
Brian Scott in the 11 car gives up the 7th position. He's on your upper left. They will take 4 tires, fill it full of fuel, better get it full. He wants just a little track bar adjustment, pretty close. Needs some right rear grip. Vince?
Joey Logano says he needs some help in the center, but he's really good on entry. They're going to make a wedge adjustment, give him a tear off, so a fresh view and 4 tires for Logano. Jamie?
Little 3 for the 60 Carl Edwards, a tear off. He wants a water, a Gatorade, wedge in the left rear, air pressure, right rear, 4 tires and Sunoco fuel, Doc.
Right lower corner, 22 car is a rocket, but horsepower burns fuel. They said, wait on it. Got to get it full, got to pack it. They got it full, and they got off of pit road first in front of the 33 car. If they got it full.
So there you see that Brian Scott picks up 3 spots as his crew does a very good job for him. The top 3 go out the way they came in. And you can see also that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. managed to pick up 1 spot, gets him a little closer to Elliott Sadler in that championship battle. There's the race off pit road. Stay with us. We'll reset it and go green again. Back here at the NASCAR Nationwide Series event at Kansas Speedway, we have 55 laps to go, our 5th caution of the day. And Brad Keselowski, our race leader, has dominated, as you can see, the cleanup as a result of the 40 of Josh Wise blowing his motor. And, boy, Keselowski's led 129 laps. Let's talk to him, DJ.
Hey, Brad, DJ, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, did you threaten Todd Gordon if he touched that race car?
No, I didn't. But, man, you got to keep working on them. Track changes, you got to keep working on them, Dale.
And you've made the adjustments on this thing?
Yeah, I think he made 1 or 2.
I guess you aren't going to tell us what that is?
Yeah, it's probably like 1,000th of a pound of air pressure or something like that.
Yeah, no, seriously, man, that thing is just, you can go anywhere on the racetrack, can't you?
Yeah, it's been really good. I can't tell you how fortunate I feel to have a car this good. I'm just trying to make sure I don't screw it up. So, trying to bring my 100% focus and A game here to finish this race up.
All right, you're doing a great job. Andy wants to talk to you here, I believe.
Sure.
Well, no offense, Brad, but I really want to talk to Todd. Hey, Todd, this fuel thing looks like it's going to pretty well use all the fuel you got in the tank. You feel pretty good about your chances of making it to the finish with no more stops, and how about everybody else you're racing?
Yeah, our mileage has been pretty good. Brad's doing a good job in the car today. We're good to finish the race. It's just green, white, checker stuff. Yeah, that's the wild card you chase here, but all in all, we're pretty good there. I'm pretty happy with what the car's doing here.
Well, the way that car's driving today, you ought to be able to save a lot of fuel. Just run half throttle, man. I think you can still stay out front.
Yeah, Brad's doing an awesome job out there. It's a pleasure to have him drive this discount tire Dodge.
Thanks for talking to us, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Well,
Thank you, Andy.
We've only had 1 green-white checker in the history of the Nationwide Series here at Kansas. And DJ, I was hoping you would ask Brad to fall back to 14th again so we could watch him go through the field.
That was exciting, no doubt.
All right, bad news for the 33 there. You saw Paul Menard. He came in second, went out second. He is going to restart at the back of the field because he has got a penalty as he was too fast entering. Let's check in with Jamie Little. I think she is caught up with Mike Beam.
Yes, crew chief for Carl Edwards, and he told Carl right when they exited pit road, start saving. And then, of course, him being a wise guy said, I can't do that. I can't save. And then he said he was kidding. How close are you guys?
I think we're going to be okay. I mean, we need to get to lap 145 right there for a green-white checker, too. So I think we'll be okay here. We're in the same boat as everyone else here. So we'll get going here and just kind of see about 20, maybe 15, 20 laps in the run here. Then, then we'll see where we're at. Then we'll come up with a plan.
All right, one good green-white checker, but, as long as we're under caution, that's helping all these guys, right?
I was wondering if he was going to, sell everybody else down pit road. He didn't do a real good sell job on that. He didn't seem too confident.
Too confident to me.
Doc, what's going on at the 33?
Well, too fast on entering pit road. The previous stop had to be at the back of the field anyway, and they were only one lap to the good on fuel. If you get a green-white checker, they wouldn't have made it, so they came in, topped it off. Now they got plenty of fuel to go. If everyone else struggles there at the green-white checker flag, they may be good with this penalty giving them a break.
Okay, a total of 4 waiver rounds. None of them will get back on the lead lap. McClure, Truex, Cope, and Gase. Let's reset it for you. Our leader is Brad Keselowski. Our lucky dog was David Stremme. We have 18 cars on the lead laps. As we mentioned, this is the completion of our 5th caution. We just gave you the 4 waiver rounds. So we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. There'll be 52 laps to go when we go green. Brad Keselowski has taken the high side. Right alongside it is Carl Edwards. Then it is in the row number 2, Brian Scott and Joey Logano. Then in row number 3, you've got Elliott Sadler, Trevor Bayne, then on back with Ricky Stenhouse, the points leader, Eric Almirola, and rounding out the top 10, Kevin Harvick and Brian Vickers. Pace car comes down through turn number 4, pulls off, crowd coming to their feet. Slowly. Remember the last time Carl was alongside, he felt like maybe he got snookered a little on the start, and here we go again. Who's going to get to that line first? This could be close again.
Looked like it was Carl Edwards got there first.
Race leader must cross the line first. Carl felt the last time these two were side by side that Keselowski sort of dogged him there a little bit.
Carl gave it back when they got to turn 1, so I think he was good.
Yeah, gave it back because Brad passed him.
Nothing new there today.
We're having to give anything to that 22 today. Here comes Carl trying to make a race of it, though.
They come to the stripe, and already they're starting to pull away from that battle for third between Logano and Brian Scott. On board with Elliott Sadler, who's running 5th.
Now, teammates battling there, kind of close between that 11 and 18.
Sadler wants to get by these guys because he knows he's out in front of Stenhouse. Stenhouse is back in 8th. Here comes Trevor Bayne. He could do some damage. And look at that number 6 all of a sudden finding some life, getting a little closer to that number 2.
We saw them do this last week, work on this 6 car of Ricky Stenhouse the whole day. Finally got it to best on their last run. Got a top 5 out of it.
Ricky, of course, had a speeding penalty. Lucky for him, it was early in the race. If it would have happened on this stop, it might have been toast. There you see him. He's just got the 11 of Brian Scott in between he and the man that's second in the points. How about Kevin Harvick battling back? They've made a total of like 6 pit stops already trying to work on that splitter.
Hey, they had that car behind the wall at one point. Stayed on the lead lap. Been working on it. Got it pretty good. Made a good run that last green flag stretch.
His low point, 25th. He's currently running 10th. Vince, what do you hear?
It's been that kind of weekend. Kevin Harvick told me yesterday after practice, he said, we rolled off so tight. We changed about everything there was to change. Finally got it pretty good by the end of practice, but that was under cloudy conditions. And then everybody came out today under the sunshine, and Bruce Cook said, if it's sunny, we could have our hands full. And boy, have they. It was wicked tight early, and then they had the splitter damage to deal with. But so far, Kevin Harvick, in the end, moving to the front.
Boy, we got a real log jam here. As you can see, there's about 5 cars in this, now 6 cars in this mix.
Man, I'm telling you, that was some racing all the way from the entry of turn 3. There's still 3 wide.
On board there with Justin Allgaier. He's running 18th.
Finally sorted it out for 2 wide. Now here we go with Paul Menard making it 3 wide.
Remember, Menard's working his way back from the back of the field after having the speeding penalty.
Yeah, that 33 car, Paul Menard's been about the second fastest car here most of the day, so we know he's got plenty of speed to work his way up through there, and he's got more fuel than everybody else right now.
He's back up to 16th. He restarted actually 18th in this field. Danica Patrick, you see also back there, as Danica shown in the 17th position. We've got some lap vehicles in that mix as well. Let's go back up a little farther forward in the field. How about Kevin Harvick? As he has got his hands full getting around Trevor Bayne. That is the battle for 8th position on the track.
I think you got to hand it that team. I mean, driving, they're still going forward after having such a terrible start.
Brian Vickers, as he's also trying to get into that mix with Jason Leffler, the 4th car in that line.
Whoa, big wiggle right there.
Woo. Nice save,
yeah.
But it's going to cost him a couple of spots.
Yeah, he might have found the limit of that car right there.
Maybe 3, because here comes Leffler. Well, he gathered it back up, and now he's back on the charge.
Well, you can see that thing really hung out right now for Kevin Harvick.
Well, it's not pushing anymore.
You guys make those saves look so easy, DJ, but people at home that don't drive this fast have no clue how much was going on in that cockpit just then.
I'll tell you, these guys do such a tremendous job. It's so fun to watch the talent that they have, and these new cars in both the Nationwide Series and Cup Series, it seems that you can get them out of shape like that and really recover. As we see Elliott Sadler going to the bottom side, trying to take this spot away from Joey Logano. That's a battle for 3rd.
It is, and Joey doing all he can. Remember, Joey has won this race here at Kansas the last 2 years in a row. He's the only repeat winner in the Nationwide Series. And remember that all-important owners battle between he and the 18 and the 60.
Rusty Wallace said in the countdown show that he felt like that the faster the track, the better Elliott Sadler was. And I think this is the best race that we've seen them run. Oh, he got loose there on the inside of Logano. Had to back out for just a minute.
And notice that the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is closing on the 11 of Brian Scott. Here is 2nd and 1st in the points. On board with 2nd place in the championship chase, Elliott Sadler.
You have to hand it to Ricky Stenhouse and his crew, too. They've done a nice job of rebounding here.
We talked about at the beginning of the race that Elliott needed to average over the last 5 races about 5 positions more each race to close and pass Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's based on the fact that neither one would have any issues on track. And as you can see right now, he's not got that 5-point gap today. Brad Keselowski's been king of the hill. He's lit 142. Stay with us.
Lots to talk about in college football. 3 teams ranked in the top 15 will be featured on ESPN and ABC's Saturday Night Football. First, it's SEC West rivals on ESPN at 7. It's the Tigers and the Razorbacks, the 15th ranked team and the 10th ranked team. Then on Saturday Night Football at 8 Eastern on ABC. A couple of Big Ten teams looking for their first wins. It's Luke Fickell's Buckeyes and Taylor Martinez and the Cornhuskers. It's college football on ESPN and ABC tonight. Back here at Kansas, Brad Keselowski continues to show the field the way, though at this moment he only has about a 1.5 second lead on Carl Edwards.
Well, that's unusual because he's had a bigger lead all day long. I mean, this Dodge is just incredible today. It's an amazing performance he's having. But one thing I've been noticing, guys, the top 4 cars are all different manufacturers. A Dodge, a Ford, a Toyota, and a Chevy. So the parity's there. We got that's what NASCAR likes to see, yeah. Brad. You know that. You like to see, instead of just 3 Dodges out run away, 4 Dodges out run away. They like to see all different makes.
That is good to see. And as we've seen, Carl Edwards is starting to pick up the pace a little bit here, guys. He's starting to cut into Brad Keselowski's lead pretty significantly. I don't know if Brad's off the throttle a little bit, letting that bad boy roll, or if Carl's just up on the wheel a little bit.
Well, one thing I want you to look at is Elliott Sadler. He's the fastest guy on the racetrack right now. We talked in our countdown show that it just seems like that Elliott Sadler runs faster at the bigger tracks, and here we got a big 1.5-mile track, and this guy's just flat flying around the racetrack now. This Kevin Harvick car, the nose is down low. It's handling well. He's got a lot of speed through the center of the corner. Tell you what, he's doing good. This last time by, about a 1/10 of a second faster than our leader, Brad Keselowski.
Elliott Sadler going for the Drivers' Championship. The driver in fourth is Joey Logano in that 18 car. He's trying to maintain the lead in the Owners' Championship, and as they run right now, he's 10 points ahead of the 60 in Carl Edwards.
Yeah, he's hung around that top 5 all day long. Got a strong race car, setting himself up for this last run. Hopefully, he'll be able to get up there and mix it up a little bit more with Edwards and Sadler, those guys, and challenge for this win. Had a good car all day.
How about Brian Scott? Currently running in fifth, qualified once again in the top 5, finally seeming to find some momentum with this JGR team.
Yeah, finally, some of the wrecking and the bad luck has went away from Brian Scott. He's having good runs now. He was third in Chicago a couple weeks ago, and now he's running good here today, a top 5 run. But the thing I look at of Brian, he's running fast. He's had a solid run throughout the day. The guy looks really good to me.
He may be about to lose a position, though, to that 6 car, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Had a problem on pit road, a speeding penalty, and had to come back down pit road. He has absolutely been flying up through this field. Look at him there. I mean, he is just boogieing coming towards the front.
Brad Keselowski, though, still out front. You said earlier, Carl Edwards pushed to that point lead a little bit. Brad has appeared to pick it up a little bit, Marty. It's back out to a 2-second lead.
Well, and he's crossed 2,500 career laps led. Over 1,800 of them have come in the last 2 years. Of course, he is the reigning series champion. Doc, what are you hearing on this rocket ship?
Well, he definitely has a rocket, but about 4 or 5 laps ago, Marty, as he came by us and the crew's pitting down at the end of pit road, entering turn 1, you could hear him shut the car off, either shut it off or clutch it going into turn 1, meaning he on his own was starting to save gas. And then this came across the radio from Todd Gordon.
You have enough for 3 green-white checkers.
I mean, now I got enough for 4.
All right, just letting you know.
So he was doing the figuring on his own. Remember back in June, he won the Cup race by stretching his fuel 57 laps. He said, why not? Maybe I'm practicing for tomorrow, but they told him you're good on fuel, you should be fine. But he was actually shutting it off or clutching at 1 going into turn 1. That's why some of the guys were gaining on him about 4 or 5 laps ago.
All right, Doc, and for anybody who doesn't know all the rules, there aren't 4 green-white checkers. He only needs enough fuel for 3. There's the man in second place right now, Carl Edwards. He's 2.3 seconds behind. And Elliott Sadler is third as we go on board with Carl.
Carl's running good. Elliott Sadler's running just a little bit faster. It's been a great run for Elliott Sadler today. Get himself back in the points. He knows he has to beat that 6 car every single race. He's going to have a chance at this championship, and he's really drove the wheels off this thing.
I think if he wins this championship, this is going to be the turning point of this part of the season, because he has driven so hard today and really for every one of these spots. Jamie?
Well, they were able to tighten that car up just a little bit for this last stint. They also told him right after the pit stop he was 4 laps to the good. So don't worry about saving. So he has been flat out. And guys, the goal coming in today was to get within 20 points of the championship. If they were able to do that, they feel they still have a shot at it. Right now, they're exactly 20 points out from the lead.
Well, unfortunately, it's now 21, because just as you finished up, the 6 car has just gone around Joey Logano, so that puts him just 1 spot behind Elliott.
Yeah, but it could change the mindset of Ricky Stenhouse and this team. If they see this 2 car running this good, knowing we have more 1.5 mile tracks coming up, then if they're going to perform at that level, then they can't make any mistakes whatsoever. So it does change the mindset, even if he doesn't gain many points. As you can see right now, there's just 1 position between the 2 of them.
While all this has been going on, we'll let you know. Remember, Paul Menard had to restart the back of the field. Took him 14 laps to get back into the top 10 after restarting 18th on lap 149. So there he is, and Menard now running in the 9th spot, right ahead of team owner Kevin Harvick. Oh, trouble for Angela Cope, and the caution is out with 27 laps to go.
Make sure they get by here. Let her roll on down. Let her roll on down.
Angela's running 30th. She was 5 laps down. The back half of that car is torn up. So this will alleviate any question of fuel for anybody.
Yeah, should set up a dash for the end of the race now without having to worry about it.
Go back and show you exactly what happened here.
Just down the inside of another car going into turn 1.
Let's go on board with Stephen Wallace, his view.
Oh, she was underneath Stephen Wallace. Just lost it.
Off clear.
Car gets arrow loose at that point.
Well, the best news of this for Ryan Truex, he is going to get the lucky dog. He was 2 laps down. He took the wave around last time. Now he's going to get the dog. He'll be back on the lead lap, puts him in 19th position. And now I guess the big question is, crew chief, with 26 laps to go.
Oh, if I had tires, I would come in and get them, but I think everybody's used them up.
Remember, we have 5 sets come race day.
They had 4 sets of tires in the pits, and the way I've counted, at least if I've counted right, they've used them all. There could be some teams that have tires that don't have a lot of laps on them.
Pits are open, so we're going to find out next time by. Cars are just turning into turn number 3, going over the tunnel as we speak. I think Brad Keselowski could just run on the rims the way that car's been handling today.
Yeah, this still, if somebody has better tires that are sitting in the pits, that would be one thing that would make Todd Gordon nervous. See somebody else come get tires. So if he's got some, yeah, he'll.
And is anybody going to bluff it? No, they're coming. So let's go to Dave Burns first again.
Brian Scott was 6th. He hates giving up that outside restart spot, so they're going to put on some scuffed tires and top it off with fuel. Vince.
The 6 of Ricky Stenhouse, the points leader. They said, come if the leader comes. Stenhouse says it's just a little bit too tight. They're going to make a chassis adjustment and 4 tire change. Jamie Little?
Mike Beam said there is speed in sticker tires. That's exactly what Carl Edwards is getting here. 4 of them exactly. He said he was just a little snug. He wanted some water, short fuel, Doc.
Brad Keselowski almost didn't come, but opted at the last minute to come on the pit road. 4 scuffed tires, and he's scooting off just in front of the 60 of Carl Edwards.
Take a look at the race off pit road. 2 tire changes for Annette and Kenny Wallace. Wallace's team picks up 12, Annette 11. Stenhouse Jr. loses 4 in this mix. Elliott Sadler lost a total of 3. Now Jason Leffler stayed out. He was 11th before the round of pit stops. This is going to get interesting. Before we go back to green flag racing, let's check the calendar once again because we'll have NASCAR Now tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time and 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then our NASCAR Sprint Cup Series coverage from Kansas presented by Dodge, 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. And our next stop on the Nationwide Series comes from Charlotte Friday night next week, 7 o'clock under the lights on ESPN2. Let's go on this last round of pit stops, and you can see there's a little material flapping on the 66. Let's go with our over-the-wall man, Hollywood Armstrong, see how it all went.
Come on, boys, let's just give him a good smooth stop.
So while we're getting ready for the dash for the cash, let's check in on pit road. Dave Burns.
Eddie Pardue made the call for Jason Leffler. Have you improved the car today? Will this work?
Well, the Great Crip Chevrolet is pretty good. We need some track position. We've made it better. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're gambling a little bit.
Don't take tires if you want to pick up 10 spots on pit road, Marty.
Well, he's got 33 more laps on his tires. What do you think about this decision, Andy?
Well, I mean, he didn't have any other shot. Doing that's just a gamble. I don't think it's going to pay off for a win, but it may turn out to be a better finish than they would have gotten.
The 2 right behind him, Annette and Wallace, only took 2 tires. Then you've got Keselowski 4th, Edwards 5th, Logano 6th, Sadler 7th, Harvick 8th, Stenhouse 9th, and Brian Scott rounding out the top 10. Here we go. Green flags in the air. We're going to try this 4 wide. Wow. Carl Edwards making a move. Edwards down low. The 22's trying to get to that high lane. Can't do it. Down the backstretch, Carl side by side with Leffler. Here comes Keselowski. Finally gets a little open space. He says goodbye to Michael Annett. And he's about to do the same to Jason Leffler.
Well, that 22 just hasn't wiggled not one time today, no matter how much traffic or any type of scenario. It'll take him long to get to that 60. See Elliott Sadler fighting back here in traffic.
Yeah, and the 6 is right there on his quarter panel, just 1 car back. Now 2 cars back.
Last time Elliott Sadler tried to go to the inside and make a pass on this 18, he got extremely loose right here at this point.
Look who he's got as his wingman, the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Harvick's going to do all he can to keep Stenhouse behind him.
Yeah, he's going to try to get there and give Elliott a push, see if he can get him by Joey Logano where he can keep marching towards the front.
And here comes Paul Menard, the other KHI car. Look at this, right underneath the 6. So, boy, Stenhouse has got to feel like he's being ganged up on.
Well, right now it's a plan that's coming to perfection with KHI getting those cars between Elliott Sadler and Ricky Stenhouse, get him a few more points.
And there's Michael Annett making life difficult for Stenhouse on the high side in the 62. Let's get an update on that 6 car. What are you hearing down there, Vince?
Well, just as they restarted, after the restart, they reminded Ricky Stenhouse to keep an eye on the big picture. May give up a few points today, but you don't want to do something silly, get over aggressive, and cost yourself a week's worth of points. So you can be sure that Stenhouse heeded that advice and will play it a little bit conservative here in the final. He doesn't want to take too much of a chance.
Running in 8th, Elliott Sadler right now is running in 4th. And there is Sadler at the head of this freight train. In fact, now move him up to 3rd as he has gotten around Leffler.
Hey, it looks like Carl Edwards is not going to be easy to pass. We thought that Keselowski was going to be just driving right by him.
Did Keselowski tell us one time he thought that 60 might be playing possum a little bit?
That's what he said.
Well, and remember also, Carl did not make the mock run yesterday. That's why he has that extra set. And here we go, Menard going underneath Harvick. But does Paul know that guy's writing the check?
I don't know if he got that or the memo too, as he's going to go up here with Elliott Sadler. Maybe they're just going to all try to draft up there together and see if they can catch these 2 up front.
All this continues. There you see. It's Edwards, Keselowski, then 2 seconds back to Elliott Sadler.
Hey, Carl Edwards found something this last run. His lap times are the fastest they've been all day long.
We have 17 laps to go. Here comes Stenhouse taking a peek underneath the 38, and he's going to clear him. So moves Stenhouse into the 6th position.
Yeah, and his car's been a little bit better than Kevin Harvick's car, so he'll set his sights on him, see if he can get by that number 4 of Harvick here and pick up another point.
But you're right, it is getting closer now between 1st and 2nd. Let's get an update on the 60. Jamie Little.
Oh, remember, we're watching sticker tires versus scuffs, and you see Brad Keselowski trying to go to the bottom. Carl Edwards spotter all over, telling him exactly where the 22 is running. Keep in mind, this is the home track for Carl Edwards. He isn't going to lay down. He has never won here. He's given it his all right now, guys.
Carl from Columbia, Missouri, as you can see right there, tied for the most with Keselowski with 2 wins on the mile-and-a-halfs this season. These guys have been dominating on these tracks.
You could hear that last time when Keselowski tried to go to the inside. He had to crack the throttle. The car got a little bit of a push and was going to get up into the side of the 60.
He's going to look inside. He's still behind. Working the bottom. Halfback.
We've seen the sticker tires when they fall off. Does the advantage then fall back to Keselowski? Because we have enough laps, but now 14 to go.
It's the way the race started. These 2 just fighting it out. And then it looked like Keselowski was able to just drive away, but right now Carl's giving him a fit.
Here we go. Side by side, Keselowski's taking a look. He's got that low line. Can he make it stick? Through 3 and now 4. He's got him.
Clear.
Yeah, you can see Carl tried to get down side draft a little bit to slow the 22 down, free him up something, but I think that's all she wrote now as far as for this.
So once the newness of those 4 sticker tires wore off, Keselowski able to take the spot. Now this surprises me. Menard is taking a position here away from Elliott Sadler.
Yeah, just as that happening, Ricky Stenhouse passes Kevin Harvick.
So what looked like a really neat plan by KHI has just exploded.
Well, it was working for a while, but you know, these guys are racers too. They're out here to do their job. They get paid to do that, go as fast as they can.
But I guarantee you, Elliott's thinking, what are you doing? I need some help here.
Man, I wish you wouldn't pass me right now.
This is still going on, and Menard's not easing up.
Neither is Elliott Sadler. He's driving the wheels off this thing right now.
On board with Elliott. 12 laps to go. Boy, he's getting closer and closer to that wall.
Yeah, for pretty much the last 100 laps, Elliott's run right next to the wall up in 3 and 4. Not much room for error there, but he's made it work.
Maintaining that spot, and Stenhouse is not too far behind. In fact, he had the third quickest lap that last time by. The first two were turned in by Keselowski and Edwards. There you see the action as they come flashing by. There's the gap between the two championship points contenders. Here goes Menard again. He is not making it easy for Elliott Sadler.
I don't think anything that Menard's doing there is upsetting Elliott Sadler as far as the line that he's running or slowing him down or anything. You obviously would rather not have somebody there whatsoever, but I don't think that it's impeding any of his progress.
10 laps to go here at Kansas. We've had a total of 5 different leaders with 9 lead changes, but the truth is it's been Brad Keselowski's day. And as we move back a little farther in the field, remember the Owners' Championship, there's Joey Logano as he is running 7th. And as they run right now, that Owners' Championship would be down to 7. With the 18 teams still in front. Justin Allgaier. Allgaier's bounced back nicely after having some issues. About 3/4 of the way through the race. He's running in that 8th position, trying to take 7th. If you were with us at pre-race, you know that he is definitely going to be back with the Turner Motorsports team, and right behind him is the 32 of Brian Vickers. Let's get more on that 31. How about it, Dave Burns?
One of the reasons why it's running so well in this last stop, they did take on 4 tires, but they popped the spring rubber into the left rear of that car. It was really loose and undrivable. He's been able to hustle it now since the last restart.
So that's good news for Justin Allgaier and all his fans. And Brian Vickers in his return to the team, running 9th right behind him there. Rounding out the top 10 is Trevor Bayne. You see those 4 go through the shot. There's Trevor. Mention the fact he came off that 6th place run at Dover. First top 10 that he had since Watkins Glen, and looks like he may be on his track to get his 2nd top 10 in a row here. And take a look underneath the 32 of Vickers. He might be able to take 9th. Not right now. Not missing anything up front. Keselowski has opened up a 2.5 lead. How many times have you heard that story today over 2nd place?
Just behind this group, you see the black car back there. That's Ryan Truex, who's made a nice comeback too after having a tire issue earlier. Been 2 laps down at one time, back on the lead lap and running this group down.
That's right. He took the wave around during one caution, then got the lucky dog the last time. And you're right, DJ. Nice comeback for this young man, running in the 11th position. Next week, he'll be in the Dash for Cash, Nationwide's last stop. 4 cars. He's one of them, eligible for a $100,000 bonus. And he'll be driving the 99 for Michael Waltrip Racing. That was just announced yesterday. Getting a little dicey here. Nice as the 16 of Trevor Bayne stays off the quarter panel of Justin Allgaier. I'm sure he appreciates that.
Some of the goodies gone off the tires on that 31.
It looks like Trevor's going to take that spot. So move Bayne up to the 9th position. Allgaier back to 10th. Five laps to go here at Kansas. You stay focused on this battle because it's the best on the track. That's what you see if you're up front. Nothing but the 22. Keselowski's lead is now 1.8 seconds over Carl Edwards.
Well, it's just been the class of the field today. Sometimes you get race cars like that, and Brad Keselowski has that car today and has done a nice job driving it.
Of course, behind Edwards is 3rd place Elliott Sadler. And Sadler's now 4.7 seconds behind the race lead. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
And he's been able to catch his breath there, and he was wondering about the points.
We know I need these points.
Heard him there. And the answer to Elliott Sadler's question, what are the points? 20 back right now as it stands to the leader, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who's running 2 spots behind him.
So there is Stenhouse, or I should say Sadler, and we're looking for Stenhouse, and there is the 6 car as he has lost a little bit of ground to this chase.
Yeah, he has. I was watching him a while ago. He'd been running the high line. He got extremely loose and almost hit the wall off of 4. He's backed up quite a bit. Been running the bottom most of the time, too, but it's allowed Kevin Harvick to close on him.
And you know Harvick really, really wants to get by him here these last couple laps.
Yeah, Harvick does know how important these points are. Every point counts in this championship battle. It's down to a 2-man race. As Brad Keselowski now with just a little more than a lap and a half to go as here he comes around. His lead is now up to 2.6 seconds. Here comes the white flag, so a mile and a half for Brad Keselowski. He has led 172 of 199 so far. Carl Edwards has done about everything you can ask, just not enough. There is Elliott Sadler still trying to hold off Paul Menard for third. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rounds out your top 5 right now here at Kansas. But what a day for Brad Keselowski. Fell back to 14th as a result of the pit stop as he comes across the line to take the checkered flag and win for the 16th time in the Nationwide Series. Edwards second, Sadler third, Menard fourth, Stenhouse Jr. is 5th. Coming to the line here, Danica Patrick in a battle with David Stremme. That is for 14th. It looks like Stremme is going to get it, and he does. So a good run for Danica as she comes back to a track that she hadn't run on in the Nationwide Series, but today belongs to that team right there.
Awesome job, everybody. Pit crew, guys doing this car, building this car, phenomenal.
He has won 3 of the last 4 races on the mile-and-a-half tracks. This is the 3rd consecutive 1-2 finish between Brad and Carl.
It's fair to say they're the 2 best in the series right now.
I don't think anybody dispute that.
His 4th win this year, Doc. Let's talk to his crew chief.
Todd Gordon up here congratulating all the crew, high-fiving the guys. And Todd, what is the key to this kind of dominating performance today?
Brad Keselowski does a lot for this Discount Tire Dodge. The guys keep working. We're building new race cars. This is a brand new car. We keep pushing. I mean, the shop's doing an awesome job pushing forward on building us a little better parts and a little better pieces, and obviously having that guy behind the wheel put the whole program together. Discount Tire giving us great support, and Dodge for all their support. They really help us.
What a humble crew chief, and what a great effort today by Todd Gordon and all these guys here at Team Penske.
He finished 2nd in this race last year behind Joey Logano and ahead of Kyle Busch. Today, he just thumps the field, leading 173 laps, beating Carl Edwards by 2.7 seconds. As he celebrates, yesterday during our practice show, if you weren't watching, we talked about the fact that when he does double duty, he does not have the same type of performance as when he does not do double duty. But he said, hey, I have commitments to these people. It's not just about sponsors, but it's about the team. It's these families. They have jobs. I'm here for them. Yeah. And he just delivered big time.
He has helped so much to build this team. They lost Paul Wolfe earlier in the year, and then Todd Gordon came on. They struggled a little bit early. Now they've been able to build it right back to the championship one they had last year.
Yeah, 2 things. I'd take care of that car and motor if it were me. I wouldn't be doing too much. But Andy, I'm going to use something that you said. This young man has a lot of character, and that's going to take him a long way in this sport. Will it win him a cup championship this year? I'm not sure, but he's proven to be somebody that we're going to talk about for a long time to come.
Let's check in with Vince Welch.
Standing by with our points leader, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Gave up a couple of points today, but all things considered, you had some challenges today. How do you assess the afternoon you had today?
That was up and down. But we did what a championship team needs to do. We need to battle back when we make mistakes. We made mistakes on pit road. I cost them some spots. We lost a few spots there on that last pit stop, but we overcame it, got another top 5, only lost a couple points, and for a car that wasn't very good and the mistakes that we made to only lose 2 points, it's not bad. We'll go on to Charlotte. Got 4 more, and I think we can handle this.
What do you feel like you need better out of the car?
We just need to get it dialed in a little closer. We didn't start off very good. We a little loose, a little tight, a little bit of both, and we just never really. We were on both sides of it, and it was far on both sides of it, and we never really got it right there in the middle like we needed it to. But we'll get it better and better every week.
Ricky Stenhouse, 5th today. Jamie?
3rd straight time, and Carl Edwards talking to Jack Roush, his owner. He's kind of important to talk to right now. But Carl, 3rd straight time you and Brad have finished 1-2. Did you feel like Superman when you came out on those sticker tires knowing he had scuffs?
Did he have scuffs at the end? Yeah. You're kidding me. All right, well, that seals it for me. I don't want to hear him complain anymore about our cars being fast or superior. If he ever says anything about it, I want you maybe to remind him of this day, because that was unreal. We've had some really good cars this year, but his was super good. He did a good job driving it. I don't think he even knew it was as fast as it was, because he was doing some stuff that I don't think he would have if he'd have known it was that fast. But proud of my guys. I got to thank Fastenal, Milwaukee. I wanted to get a win here for the hometown crowd, but man, that was surprising. They figured something out. They did a good job, and at least I got to race them a little at the end. That would have been demoralizing if I'd have known those were scuffs, though. So I'm glad I didn't know till now.
Get to race him again tomorrow, starting 2nd at his home track. Marty?
All right, so let's check in with the man who had the dominant car today. You could hear him when we talked to him on the in-race reporter. He knew he had a great piece underneath him. Doc?
You could hear and see the shower as Brad Keselowski gets out of the car and high fives Todd Gordon and all this Discount Tire crew for Penske Racing. Wow, what a dominant performance, leading 173 laps a day, picking up where he left off here back in June with the Cup car. And Brad, what a performance. Where I come from down south, that's called opening up a can of whooping on the competition. What does it do for a driver to have a car this good on a day like this?
Well, it's amazing. This Dodge Challenger, it just hauled all day. I knew it was pretty good in practice, but I didn't know it was going to be this good, Jerry. So I'm proud of these guys. And I'll tell you what, Todd Gordon back there, I get a lot of questions why I run this nationwide deal. And today's like day. I know I'm going to get people on my Twitter account, ask me, why do you do this? Why don't you just focus on your Sunday deal? But the reason why I do this for guys like this, there's pit crew guys out here that are getting their first opportunity to pit cars, a whole bunch of different opportunities. Todd, without this program, would be laid off on unemployment. And, because of Roger Penske, because of Discount Tire, and all of us putting this program together, these guys are all out there working in tough times right now. And not just the whole world, but in NASCAR, everything. And it makes me very proud to be a part of this program. And very thankful for that, and everybody in this Discount Tire team. It's very special, and that's my way of giving back to everybody and being a part of this program.
You talk about running on Saturday and running it on Sunday. What did you glean today that could help you possibly in the chase for the Sprint Cup race here tomorrow?
Well, I wish I could take this car to tomorrow. That's what I learned. But my Cup car is really good, the Miller Lite Dodge. But these nationwide cars have been so good, and I'm always learning. And I got to thank everybody on this team once more. It's just an unbelievable car, an unbelievable day. And everybody at Nationwide and all the fans, thank you so much. It's a privilege to get to do this.
Brad Keselowski in victory lane for the 4th time this year. He was in victory lane here back in June in the Cup car, hoping to do it again tomorrow. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Kevin Harvick with a 6th place run today with a very damaged race car. How'd you do that? And more importantly, getting Elliott to 3rd today, a significant run for the team.
Well, I can't be prouder of these guys. I don't know that I would have been any prouder of them if we'd have won the race today to go behind the wall twice and put the splitter on. Obviously, we got an issue there that we don't really know what happened, but they did a great job fixing it. Just got to thank everybody from Hunt Brothers Pizza, Ream, One Main Financial, Budweiser, Chevrolet, and Champion for everything they do for these teams.
Closing out your run for your own team. It's been sold, and this is the last one. What are your feelings?
Well, we're still going to be very involved, so it's not like it's going to go away, but my feelings are right now the cars need to get better, so that's the main reason that we did the nationwide part of it, and myself and Richard and everybody will sit down and talk about what we need to make these cars run faster.
Strong run for Kevin Harvick today.
And Elliott Sadler brings it home 3rd today. Had one previous start, and you finished 42nd. I'd say that's a lot better today. Big points day for you. 20 points now separate you and Ricky Stenhouse. Where does the championship stand?
Well, I tell you what, I'm just proud of my guys, because after what happened to us at Dover last week, getting called laps down, and we could have hung our head, but we fought back, brought a really good car here to Kansas. That last caution killed us. We were catching the 60, and we're catching the 22 a little bit, but we didn't know if he was playing or not. But proud of everybody on this One Main Financial Chevrolet car. Just a way to rebound and fight hard. We didn't gain but a couple points, but if we do that every week, we can still be in the middle of the hunt. So just proud of my guys. We're going to take this same car to Charlotte next week and hopefully be fast again.
Your feet were burning, but I'm glad to hear your heel's all right. Elliott Sadler, third today. Vince?
And his teammate today, Paul Menard, ran fourth. And at one point, Paul, you pulled right up next to Elliott. Thought maybe you were going to be able to get by him. How much of a decision did you have to make at that point?
Well, our car was really fast, but we restarted 16th the last restart, and definitely used my stuff up coming to to Kevin and to Elliott, to Leffler and those guys. And I thought I was going to get by Elliott, and he figured out that high groove. He loves that high groove. He makes it work. I can't make it work. I had to be at the bottom, and his momentum just beat me. But a lot of fun. I love racing with Elliott. He's a great guy, and we gave each other plenty of room.
Yeah, indeed. Good call. Fourth place for Paul Menard today.
Reed Sorensen was 26th on the day, 2 laps down in a car he had never seen or driven before this weekend. What was the hardest part about today, Reed?
Probably the seat. It's 300 miles isn't too long a race compared to these cup ones, but when you're in a seat that doesn't quite fit you right, it can get pretty long there. But all in all, we did a pretty good job. I felt like from the start of the race about halfway, we made the car a lot better. And then the last two sets of tires, we lost something big there. So not sure what it was, but all in all, the guys did a good job today. We finished the race, and we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into at the start of the race, and it was tight the whole day, and we made it better and finished. Like I said, we finished the race, got some points, and that's what our goal was today. So we did it.
You lost 21 points, but you're still in third. What is the plan for next week at Charlotte?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I want to get in the best car I can before the year's out, and try to stay where I'm at in points. So we'll work hard starting tomorrow and see what we can get.
All right, good luck. Dr. Punch?
And former series champion Brian Vickers, welcome back to the Nationwide Series. Brian, your thoughts on an 8th place finish, by the way, in your first run in the new Nationwide car?
Not satisfied. 8th was a good day for us, but we wanted more. I wanted more. I appreciate it's fun being back in the Nationwide Series. It's fun being back in the Dollar General car. They've been with me for a long time. That means so much. I just over-adjusted too much. It's the first time I've been in these cars in a long time. The one tire rule in practice, we were awesome at the end of the second practice, but we were just out of fuel, and I over-adjusted and just made the car way too loose for the race, and we fought that the whole day. But we got up there a couple times, and then we lost some track position. But 8th was a solid day. Learned a lot going into Charlotte.
All right, he's headed to Charlotte next week, guys. Marty?
All right, Doc, thanks very much. Something that we just caught on camera between the 11 of Brian Scott and the 88 of Eric Almirola. They were having some words down on pit road after the race. This is not the first time these two have had this kind of discussion.
No, it's not the first time. They've had a few issues along the way, and Andy and I saw the 11 fall back there in that last run. Wasn't exactly sure what happened, but Jamie, you've got more?
And we did catch up with Brian Scott. Not happy right now. We just saw you guys having some words. What was the issue, and what did you say?
Well, really, it's an issue that's been building all year. He's ran into the back of me on restarts. He wrecked me at Richmond. He walls me at Chicago. He races like it's the last lap every time he's around me, and I've had enough of it. He's cost me a car, and he continues to race like that. So I went and told him, and I just told him how I felt. I told him that I owed him one. And I told him if he's going to continue to race like that, then I'm probably going to slip up and wreck him.
What exactly happened today that led you to confront him?
He just races like, I don't know, any other better word for it than a jack, you-know-what. He runs you tighter than anybody. He tried to pass us on pit road and tried to block me from getting in my pits. It's just an every week thing, and I'm sick of it. I'm not going to put up with it anymore, and that's what I told him. Right there, he's blocked me from getting in the pits, and his pit stall's way down there. So he obviously has an issue with me, and now I have a pretty big issue with him.
And it's not settled. Brian Scott said he has one coming. Let's go over to Vince for the other side of the story.
Eric Almirola. Eric, we just heard the take from the other side. How about your perspective?
Brian, he thinks I wrecked him on purpose still at Richmond. He still hasn't gotten over it, but it's racing. It's short track racing at Richmond. He can't move on from that. We fire off the race today, and I run him down. I get to him, and he runs right on my door and tries to spin me out. So then later on in the race, he tries to run me back down, and I run right on his door, and that's what he's mad about. He's mad that I don't give him any room on the racetrack. But he just he races way over his head, and he's very fortunate that his dad has a lot of money and spends a lot of money on his racing, and that's a big factor in what he's got going on. So, he races really hard all the time. And I got into him on accident at Richmond. I apologized. It was on national television that I didn't do it on purpose, and yet he's still mad at me for it.
Thanks, Eric. That's Eric Almirola, both sides of the issue there, Marty.
Okay, let's get your take, DJ.
Well, anytime that you have two drivers have differing opinions, most of the time exactly what's going on, and that's going to be up to them to really kind of settle this and get everything worked out, because they don't need to be tearing up race cars. They both have a bright future, but there's obviously a lot of tension between these two, and it seems like they just generally don't like each other right now.
Andy, you want to jump in on this?
Well, this is kind of between the drivers, look like to me. I don't have much to say about it. They didn't beat the race cars up, which is the main thing. I hate seeing that when drivers run into each other after the race or do something like that, but it looked like the cars were intact.
Well, the worst part is they both fell back. I mean, Almirola finishes 12th, and then Scott ends up finishing in the 17th position, and they both were better. Now, we talked about the Richmond deal, which Almirola said, yeah, that was my fault. Here, let's take you back and show you exactly what happened right there.
Yeah, this looked like almost an intentional thing when Brian Scott got crashed, and he just didn't like it at all, as you can see here. He's still not over it, obviously.
Yeah, you'd like to think in that situation on short track that you can avoid getting just run into from behind, but a lot happens. It happens quickly, and then once that starts, it seems that you find yourself around that driver a lot, and a lot of things can happen, and this has escalated to the point that these drivers need to talk and work this out.
Yeah, I think their crew chiefs need to get with them a little bit too and say, look, guys, we're trying to run good. We want to get the best finish we can. We don't need nonsense on the racetrack, so they need to get involved maybe.
Well, let's check in with Dave Burns. He's caught up with Danica Patrick, who had a real close finish.
She had a 15th place finish, Marty, and Danica, I heard you say over the radio, I've had the loose, I've had the tight. I'm not sure which is worse today.
Yeah, it was definitely really tight at the beginning, or really loose at the beginning, sorry, and especially that first run, or the second run was really, really loose. So anyway, we made it a little bit better, and it seemed like getting towards just over halfway. Made a stop that was really good for a while for the first half of the stint, and then inevitably when it's like that, it's a little too tight at the end. So tried to make a change to free it up for the end, but made it tighter. So anyway, we were kind of fighting it all, and a little lack of consistency. I felt like to make the car do what I wanted, I had to be kind of hard on it, pitch it in or stab the throttle. So I wasn't able to be nice to the car, which probably doesn't help with the consistency. But GoDaddy car came home, we finished, got all the laps done, and for me it's probably not the worst thing in the world at this point in time to deal with loose, deal with tight, work the line, work cars. It's kind of the name of the game for me right now.
She's got more data in the brain, and remember, this is the last new track for Danica in a stock car.
And we check in with Justin Allgaier. No pushing and shoving by you after the race like we saw a moment ago with the other, but you had a little hold your breath moment with Trevor Bayne during the race. What happened?
Well, we actually had a few hold your breath moments. The Brent Chevy just wasn't exactly where we wanted to be at. But the deal with Trevor, we got a good run on the outside. I don't know, something happened on the exit of turn 4 there on one of the restarts, and got a really good run at the outside. And I saw the 16 start to come around a little bit and tried getting out of the hole, but unfortunately there just wasn't enough space. And got together with them, and probably could have wrecked a lot worse than we did, but all in all, both cars kind of got together pretty square. We actually have the tailpipe marks right in our left side of our car where the tailpipes matched up, but it's just it was tough racing today. I don't know, the seams really were a pain, and we just never really had our car, the tires to match the racetrack where we needed them to. So rough day, but we didn't lose any points to any of the guys we're racing with in the championship battle, and go get them next week.
All right, Justin Allgaier brings it home in 11th spot. Marty?
And he is 5th in the championship hunt, only 8 points out of 4th, which is held by Eric Almirola. Let's take a look at the ticket to the race, because the season is winding down. Just 4 more stops on the tour this year. Next weekend, Friday night at Charlotte Motor Speedway, then a couple of weeks off before we'll wrap it up at Texas, Phoenix, Homestead, Miami. Let's send it down to the pit studio. Take it away, Nicole.
And let's bring things full circle, because when we started this day off, we were talking about Reed Sorensen being removed from that 32 car in favor of Brian Vickers. Did Brian Vickers do that much better than Reed Sorensen would have?
Well, no, he finished 8th. In fact, I've seen Reed finish a lot better than that throughout the year, but Turner wanted to try something. He wanted to shake it up and see if it was the driver or the car. Well, obviously it wasn't the driver.
an incredibly dominant performance today for Brad Keselowski.
Yeah.
Do you think that will carry over tomorrow in the Cup Series race?
Absolutely. It carries the confidence over, not the feel, but the confidence. And when you're confident in that Cup car with his talent, you can win a race.
And once again, the championship battle just a little bit tighter. Elliott Sadler did all he could, but he still trails by 20. Tomorrow's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Kansas, presented by Dodge, 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Congratulations once again to our very dominant performance by Brad Keselowski. Coming up next, ESPN2 College Football Scoreboard, presented by Acura. Take it away in Bristol, Ryan Burr.